Glad you could make it tonight. We've got 12 people to start off. That's awesome. The Humble Reefer is here. Hello, y'all. On time this time. The 300 is going strong. Awesome. Hey, Scotty, if you want to come in, just send me an email and I'll send you out the link and you can show us what you're doing or even just talk about it if you like. Invitation's always there. Email is scrolling across the bottom of the screen if you need it. I guess what did I do this week? This week I did some fragging. I managed to get the rock that was in the middle of the observation tank, which had originally been in my Red Sea tank, and we moved it over there so that I could keep an eye on it. There were some zoanthids on there that I wanted, and a tangerine juice leptocerus. And there was also a green goblin leptocerus, and I got several frags of that one, luckily. So I did that, and now I have a whole rack of frags in the observation tank. And the next plan for fragging will be out of the 150, the 150-gallon section of the sump. It's going to be actually a frag rack and a couple of pieces off of what used to be the right-hand pillar in my Red Sea tank. I had a two-piece wrap around the overflow of rock. And this is the right-hand side because there's a couple things on there that I think I can move up here and actually use. So that's probably going to be tomorrow. I had wanted to do it today, but I kind of slept late because I was up until 4 in the morning getting the aquascaping video out and published. And so I'm still catching up on my sleep for that, but I'll get to it tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day. So that's kind of what I've been up to this week. And everything that I do to move frags from one place to another, get them into this tank. 2 of the tangerine juice leptocerus are decent sized pieces that I will be putting in here. I've got a couple places picked out at the very back behind the rocks where it's very low light. And so every step that I take leads me closer to being able to totally empty that 150, including fish. So as we sit here next week, we could have 2, maybe 3 more fish in here. I have the Tomini Tang, a magnificent foxface, and another Blenny, who's at least twice the size of Chunk. When I got them, that was the ratio of their sizes. The one that's in here now was quite tiny, and I was concerned for a very long time I was going to lose it. But it did very well, just kind of hanging out. It was in the 100-gallon section of the sump where the skimmer was, and it did really well. So the bigger one also did really well because it was in the 150, and there's lots of algae in there, and it is enormous. I don't think I've ever seen a lawnmower blenny that big, and I'm hoping it's still in there. It's probably been a week since the last time I saw it. But it makes an appearance every once in a while when I'm putting the algae clip in. There's an algae clip in this tank right here. You can see they're just finishing it off. Yeah, so an algae clip goes in downstairs as well for those 2 tangs and the blenny. And that's going to be an adventure. So who knows what will be here by next week. And then speaking of next week, while it's in the top of my mind, and welcome to everyone who's watching the replay, by the way, glad you could come by. Next weekend is the last Sunday in August, which is, I believe, the 28th. The 26th is a Saturday. No, wait a minute. The 27th is a Saturday. Yeah, 27th is a Saturday. The 28th is a Sunday. So that will be a global live stream on Sunday the 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So if the afternoon works better for you on a Sunday, or you have some time and you just want to come by and see what's happening, next weekend is the Sunday live stream. All right, a couple more people just dropped in. The Humble Reefer. That sounds fun. I could join next week if that's good. I could go over the anemone tank and the frag tank setup. Yeah, that'd be cool. Hey, B-Speak, Reef community worldwide. Well, for heaven's sake, Paul, glad you could make it. From the UK. Thank you. Hey, Kathy B. Good. Kathy, we're working on a plan to come down to Grimsby to go to Little Shop of Coral. I've been talking to Rob about getting me a specific frag. And if that works out, that might be a good time for us to bring your Space Invader Pectinia. If we can meet up somewhere or whatever you want to do, no rush for you to do your reset any sooner than you want to. We can come back again when it's time for fish. But anyway, the Pectinia is now bigger than the palm of my hand, which amazes me every time it happens. Every time I look at it, rather. So yeah, and it has really long tentacles. It's one of those ones that stretches well beyond, like probably 4 or 5 inches. If they're pushed by the flow, so they don't go up against the flow. So what I've always done with these things is put them somewhere that there's nothing downstream that they can really reach and destroy. Reef community worldwide. Been a long time since I watched a live stream. Yeah. Well, I took about 7 months off while this tank was being sort of populated, put together. My video yesterday was about building the aquascape, and really, I think November was my last live stream because the tank was about to come in. I'm trying to remember. I think the empty tank was in here for 1 or 2 streams before I took a hiatus. I didn't think I'd be gone for 7 months, but it is what it is. Things happen. You get busy doing other things, and I was sick a lot over the winter, and that affects energy level and all that jazz. So yeah, I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad it's summer. And if I stop getting these stupid viruses and respiratory things, I'd be much happier. But I don't know how to avoid it. I'm just doing my best to wash my hands a lot and stay away from people. The stay away from people part isn't hard for me, but it's the washing hands thing I got to remember. Kathy B. Wow. Chad Kurtz. Hey, Chad Kurtz. I need to do a reset or tear down my Reefer 650. Reef community, all the old crew seems to have vanished. Yeah, Paul, they are still out there, but the activity isn't the same. A lot of stuff on YouTube has changed, and a lot of people sort of backed off on what they were doing. And life stuff happens to people too. So I don't know what'll happen this winter. Hopefully, some people will get back. There are a few people who really downsized their reef involvement, and some stepped away altogether. But most of them are still out there. It's just Instagram is probably busier than YouTube because YouTube as a platform, as a whole environment, has changed a lot. And I've found I'm not as motivated as I used to be to do YouTube videos. But the bright side of that is that when I do a video, it's because I really want to, and because I've got something to say or something to show you or something I'm excited about. And that's way better than going, oh my God, I've got to do another video to, keep up my blah, blah. I can't operate that way. And I'm just a lot happier if I can do the videos when they suit me. I'm going to get this banner. It's bugging me. Where is it now? Trying to get rid of this. Where is it? Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me. So yeah, I do spend a lot more time on Instagram than I do on YouTube, and that's just because I like it because I can put quick updates up and just put a picture up of something that's happening, and it's instant Instagram. So yeah. Hey, Reefkeeper, how's it going, Phil? Diacanthus reef. People pop up now and again. I'm sure others are lurking here and there as well. Oh yeah. Yep. Reefkeeper, I'm still around, Paul. Awesome. And I mean, speaking of people coming and going, I don't know if you guys have come across Sandy. Sandy's Reef Savvy. If you are on Instagram, if you've seen this, she hasn't posted for a very long time, and I've kind of chatted with her off and on periodically. I've known her for a long time. I'm pretty sure she had a YouTube channel, and I cannot remember the name of it. I don't think it was Sandy's Reef Savvy because it might be. But anyway, I looked for it and I couldn't find it. But she unfortunately is going to be packing up and selling her entire fish room, and for health reasons. And this is the Reef Savvy, that is the name of her Instagram account, is because that's her tank. It's a 300-gallon Reef Savvy, and she waited a year to get this tank, and is pretty devastated at pretty much having to give everything up. So she's just selling everything. And she did send me a list, like just kind of a high level list of what she had or has, and it's all for sale. And asked if I would put the word out where I could. So I'm going to do that now. It's right near the beginning of the live stream. If anybody is interested, I did make a banner for her, so you can, I'll put this up here. You can look for her. So if you're interested in any of this, in contacting her to see if there's anything you might be interested in, here's a very high level list. It's a custom 300-gallon Reef Savvy Peninsula tank, 75 by 42 by 22. Custom smoke glass Reef Savvy sump, 60 by 36 by 18, with attached ATO. A Red Sea Reefer 250. Three 20-gallon quarantine system. The Reef Savvy has been wet since September 29th of 2019. And actually, if you do go on her Instagram account, there are posts there about that tank. You could go and take a look at it if it's something that interests you. Sandy is in Alabama, and I'm assuming somewhat local to that area makes the most sense, but I asked her if she would ship, and she seems willing to, but I'm not sure to what extent she would do that. Probably not livestock, but that's just an assumption I'm making. And for livestock, she has 9 large tanks, which is 3 purple, 2 yellow, 3 Desjardins sailfin, 1 Sohal, 1 foxface, a pair of designer mocha clowns, and they're all included in the price. So if she can sell everything together, she has over 25 grand invested in this room, in this fish room, and all her equipment. And she told me if she can sell it all, she would take $5,000 for it. And if you know anything about custom tanks and tank building and buying, you'll know that her tank alone is probably pretty close to that. So yeah, I'm always sad when this happens to people, and it's inevitable. It happens to all of us. I'm not getting any younger. I'm pretty sure one day it'll happen to me. So if you want to get in touch with Sandy and see if she's got anything you're interested in, then please go ahead. Okay, sad news, but yeah. Phil, I'm so sad. During a water change today, I spooked my orchid dotty bag. It jumped out of the tank. I couldn't find it. Oh no, Phil. Yeah, that's awful. Well, I can't remember if I told you guys when I moved my Red Sea tank from our old house, when we pulled it out of the room that day, I finally found out what happened to one of my 2 Aurora gobies. It was, excuse me, a J-shaped potato chip behind the tank. It somehow jumped out, even though the lid was tight. Yeah, my voice is starting to go again. Sorry to hear that, Phil. Paul, I had a filefish jump behind the tank the other day. It took me 45 minutes to get it. Full of dust and fluff, looked dead, washed it under the tap, then held it in the tank for 2 minutes, still alive. Oh man, I hope so. Yeah. Phil says, that's awesome, Paul. I was hoping to find mine, but not sure where it ended up. Maybe my dog snatched it. I don't know. Sucks. Yeah. Those little dog critters, they're fast. The other thing that Sandy has that I kind of skipped over here, some stuff like the Apex geocalcium reactor, new in box, never been used. So if you guys are interested, I'm sure the ideal thing would be to be able to for her to be able to uh, move it all on and hope to find someone who will love it just as much as she does or did. Yeah. So I don't know what else to say. Actually, one thing I've been doing, I was talking about fragging at the beginning of the live stream, and this mushroom is, I talked about this on Insta. I got this for $10 at a frag show when it was really tiny. In the bottom left corner, you can see a couple of babies, and that's about how big it was. The thing is gorgeous. And what you're looking at here is almost 5 inches across. And I'm debating on putting it in my big tank because of the number of babies it keeps dropping everywhere. I don't want it to become invasive, but at the same time, I really like it. So because of all the babies, I'm going to detach them from the glass, which they're stuck to, get them mounted on, get them into some rubble so they can attach, and get them mounted onto some frag plugs so that I can take them to the LFS. So I think I need a name for it. So I don't know, like maybe you guys can make some suggestions about what I could call this thing, because it looks pretty drab when it's small, but you can see the potential color in it. Then when it gets big like this, it's just amazing. It kind of looks like a Rhodactis, but then it looks like a Yuma to me. And right near you can see there's a flake in the upper right corner. That's actually part of the tangerine juice, Leptocerus. There's a tentacle below that, and on the extreme right of the photograph, it has 2 dots on it. Some of these tentacles all around the outside, some of them are double like that. Like it's just an amazing thing. Oh, hey, T40. How's it going? Sorry to hear about Sandy. Yeah. T40, I'm good, just waiting on my stand to come. They said 5 weeks. Wow. Pizza diacanthus reminds me just a bit of pizza anemones. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's that texture with the really small bumps that reminds me of that. It doesn't have the radial lines coming out from the mouth. And it does have all of these, well, they're tentacles. I mean, that's their function. So I don't know, trying to come up with a name for it, just so that I can tell the LFS, yeah, this is a so-and-so Yuma. And I'll tell them it's a made-up name. T40, very excited, a little nervous as well. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still nervous. Every time I do something downstairs, I get nervous about things. I don't want to wreck what I have. I've been putting off bringing the fish up here because they're doing great down there. And and the Royal Grandmas were doing great downstairs. And then I brought them up here and I lost both of them, like overnight within a day of putting them in here. So I don't know. I think that's kind of in the back of my mind. I'm afraid I'll do something wrong or they'll jump or whatever. Yeah, I still don't have a lid on this tank. Shh, don't tell the fish. All right. So I don't know if anybody wants to come in and, help me keep you guys entertained, or if anybody has any questions, or this week I put the stream reminder right at the very end of my video yesterday. And I mentioned before, I've been kind of doing that with the stream reminder videos, making them part of an update so that at least I'm able to continuously put information out about the tank, about things that are happening and how things are going. And combining the two seems to be working. I don't know, maybe people didn't watch all the way to the end. So they didn't see it and didn't realize I'm here tonight, but anyway. Can anybody give me any tips on using PVC? Oh, too bad my husband's not here or not watching, because he's learned all kinds of stuff with all the plumbing he's done for my tank, my UV sterilizer, the all the different kind of add-ons that we've done. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like the one thing he's done, which I think is a little different from other systems, is the only pipes that he actually glued were pipes that were going to be under pressure or that were not within the outline of the tank. So, for example, my shallow 50-gallon trough is the highest point of my sump. The water comes down into the trash can and flows out of the trash can into this shallow 50. And there's a pipe that comes out to drain it that comes down, takes a 90 and goes out the front through the bulkhead, and then another 90 and goes straight down, and then a 45 and goes down below this shallow 50. So it's shaped, it's shaped like this, and then comes down and goes on an angle. That's made up of, I don't know, 3 or 4 pieces. Every time it changed direction, it was a different piece. None of that is glued. It's all just fit together because even if it springs a leak, it's just going to drip into the tank. And the reason he did that was for clean out purposes because of all the bends in it. And more than once, it's proven to be really useful because he can just disassemble it, clean it. Like he likes doing that stuff. And I honestly have to say, this isn't my reef tank. It's our reef tank, my husband's and mine, because he does maintenance on it every single morning. That is like a routine. And he loves cleaning the glass in here. Every morning, first thing he does is take the little nubbin out of the algae clip, you know, the little bit that's between the clamp, and he throws it in and likes to watch the fish chase it. And then he cleans the glass. I don't know if he cleans it every day at this point, maybe every other day. And he goes downstairs and he swaps out the filter box that's under the overflow, checks everything, looks at the pH. He just has a whole routine. He tops up the ATOs every other day. He doesn't let them get anywhere near empty. And yeah, so I would say the tip is don't glue stuff that you don't have to. If it's under pressure, yeah, like the return lines, there's no way you can get away without gluing that, or any of the plumbing that travels in open space above a floor or whatever. But if you can get away with not gluing it so that you can take it apart and clean it, it's proven really useful in our setup. It's 1:30 in the morning. Thanks for streaming, Cindy. We'll watch the rest on repeat tomorrow. Night, darling. Night, love. Have a good rest. And thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you again. Actually, Paul was Reef Community Worldwide was where I used to spend my time when I was doing maintenance on the Red Sea tank when I first set it up. The first summer I had it, he would do regular streams, which would end up being on a Sunday afternoon. And I would try and catch them live when I could, but most of the time it was repeat. And I would just listen to it as I was working. It was, I don't know, there's just something nice about having people chatting about something you really like in the background. And it just seems to make the time go by. And I did some reading once about background when you're working. My brain cannot listen to music in the background because my brain is looking for patterns. And until I find the patterns, I can't focus on anything but finding the patterns. So people fall asleep listening to music. I can't do it because my brain is looking for the patterns. And but talking, I can focus really well on work when there's talking in the background, because even if I catch the odd word that gets my interest, my brain isn't engaged in trying to figure something out. It's just listening. And yeah, it's really enjoyable to just have a stream going on. And it's amazing what you learn and what you can pick up. Just even little bits and pieces of stuff that you didn't know, or a product you didn't know about, or things to do research into, that kind of stuff. So yeah, Good. Tomorrow's Sunday, so hopefully, hopefully Paul will have something to listen to. We've been going for half an hour now. Oh, I need somebody to come in and relieve me here because it's going to get pretty darn boring pretty fast. I wonder how the clip looks tonight. The water's a little clearer. Let's see if I can put this on. Oh, there you go. That's not bad with the color. Yeah, there's some kind of weirdness like around the outsides, but at least you can see the tank. So in this front corner here, I put my blastomusas. There's 2 of them. And you guys might remember me talking about the flow being a problem for my cinerinas. I have 2 of them. The one right there above my finger is huge. And then the one beside it is like a deep orangey, reddish orange color. And they were at the very back of the tank, way, 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 way back in that corner, behind the rocks, because that's the only place there was low enough flow that it wasn't folding the big one over itself and putting stress on the tissue by wrapping it around the skeleton. That was the only place I could put them. But because the big one is so big, the flesh still balloons up into huge folds. And I was doing something in the tank, can't remember what it was, and I realized the flow up in this corner had changed from when I first set the tank up. And I think it's because of the Jabo pump in the middle. And plus, I also put a power head. I don't know if you can actually see it right there. Actually, that's not, no, right here. There is a Tunzi 6015 about 2 feet in from the back, aiming sort of towards the middle and up slightly. So I think what it's doing is interrupting the flow from the gyre. And so now there's way less flow in the front corner than there used to be. And putting my 2 cinerinas up front, they actually look better as far as how the flesh is distributed than when I had them at the back behind the rocks. Plus, now I can look at them because this is where I had originally hoped to put them because they're big, they're showy, they're colorful. And so, yeah, that was kind of a major thing I did this week, along with moving the blastos over because they had been in the middle of the tank. And you can see it's a lot brighter towards the center of the front. And so they're fully open now, whereas before they were only partially. And look, we have a guest. It's Kathy. I'm going to bring Kathy in.
Hello.
Yay. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Cool.
I'm sitting down. I'm far away from the tank. I got to get a stand or something for my phone because crazy.
It's pretty hard being a human tripod. I've done it.
Yeah,
It's not fun.
exactly. I'll go over there. Oh,
It looks
Saturday
nice.
night. Hmm?
It looks nice. I'm looking at it. The water looks really clear.
I know. I cleaned the glass this morning or this afternoon. I cleaned the glass. And what else did I do today? Nothing. Oh, changed out my filter pad and topped up my ATO and refilled my calc doser thing and that was it. I didn't do much else today.
Oh, that sounds like a good Saturday though, because you could take your time.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a yesterday one of my anemones decided it was going to go and bother my Duncans that I'm trying so desperately to not have bothered. And I couldn't, he went underneath the rock and was tickling them and I couldn't get him out. So I took another rock and I just like closed him in there. Yeah. So now he's sort of trying to get out and through the rock, but I may have squished them. I'm not even sure because I can't see that part of the tank. And but I saved the Duncans from getting stung because I have quite a few anemones. He'll be fine, but tomorrow I'm going to move the rock and maybe I'll be able to pull him out of there. He might get so mad at me that he's going to move. So, so I got we're going forward with another tank. I'm going to get in another tank and do an anemone tank. So I'm
Nice.
going to free up some space in here and put the tank on the other side of the wall and then plumb it directly into the system in the basement. So I only, don't have to worry about changing water upstairs.
Yep.
Now I'm on the hunt for a tank and I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So,
Do you are you looking for new or are you looking for a used one?
well, ideally I'd like a good condition used tank. But if I have to, buy new, then I probably will.
Yeah.
Um, I'm looking at like anywhere between 30 to 50 gallons kind of thing,
Right.
like a Red Sea 170 or a water box 60 or something like that.
Oh
Because it
yeah.
has to have, it's in my living room. It has to have a really nice stand. And
Yeah.
I want it to look like a complement to the main tank because it's literally going to be on the other side of that wall there.
Yeah.
This wall here, it's on the other side of that wall.
Oh,
So that's the
oh
plan.
nice. Well,
Yeah. So,
are you on the fragtank.ca?
yep.
Yeah, I always look on there to see what people are selling, what's what.
Yeah, I check that. I check Kijiji,
Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace. I'll drive within reason,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to like the other side of Toronto.
Or Sarnia.
Yeah, or Sarnia, yeah, to find out that it's like scratched or something
Oh
like that.
yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's so
So
hard, and
yeah,
especially now with COVID and all that. I mean,
yeah,
we're so tired of it and life seems to be going back to normal, but I just keep in the back of my mind, we still have to be careful.
yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
I just found out today on Facebook there was. 'Cause I'm not on Instagram, but I am on Facebook, and I found out today that in September there is a Canadian Aquatic Expo
What?
In Toronto that is part of the Canadian Pet Expo and Canadian Reptile Expo. So all three. Now I looked on the vendors. There's only 7 or 8 saltwater vendors, but yeah, 17th of 18th
Oh.
of September at the International Center.
Oh, and that's the one in Mississauga, isn't it?
Yeah, by the airport.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to
yeah. So
think about going there.
I might go because it's gonna have like cat shows and other things like other pet stuff, and we have cats, so
Yeah, yeah,
that's always interesting. And
yeah,
so I might head there to check just for one day, like one afternoon kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Oh
go look
man.
for it, and you can do a Google search for it, and you'll get all the details of what times and stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
was like shocked because I didn't even first I've ever heard of it. It showed up on some
I'm
reptile feed that goes on to my feed, my group feed, and I'm like, I don't even belong to a reptile group. I don't know why I'm getting this. And I clicked on it, and oh my God, there's a show. Like Sustainable Marine's going to be there, and Candy Corals and Little Shop of Corals and a
oh
few
my
others.
God.
I can't remember
Yeah.
who else. I can't remember everybody, but
I'm gonna
yeah.
look for that because we were just talking about that the other day where we miss the shows. I mean,
Oh, I
even
miss
though
them.
it was only once or twice a year, maybe it
Yeah.
still was kind of something to look forward to and a way to talk to people and see some different stuff and
Yeah, I
yeah.
know. I miss them too. I'm watching all the Reef Paloozas and
I
that
know.
stuff. I get so jealous, and I'm like, oh, what?
We went
I'm
to
not.
RAP in Chicago the first year it was there in 2019, and we loved it.
Oh, it's torture though. Can't bring anything back.
Well, you can, but you're taking a
Wow.
chance. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there certain things are legal, other things are just
Right.
whether. And I always declare everything I have anyway. So if they decide they want to confiscate it, you just have to be ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's all that's new with me and
Cool.
exciting.
Oh, look at
Everybody's doing
Bob.
fine. Bob's doing great. Got bigger.
Oh
last week.
no.
He's getting bigger by the minute.
He looks really good.
Yeah, he does. He's beautiful. He's so peaceful considering the size of him.
Yep.
He's so peaceful. Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully
Yep.
he'll be, hopefully nobody will bother him. Nobody bothers him, so he doesn't bother anybody else. So that's a
Yeah,
good
it's
thing.
it's definitely a size thing. Definitely. I mean, the angelfish, the coral beauty angelfish, and the blenny seem to have become buddies.
Hmm.
And at first, I thought the blenny was being aggressive to keep the angelfish away from his territory. But now, like I see them kind of swimming around together and following each other and hanging out. So it's
That's
really
cool.
cool to see. And they're about the same size. But then when you get
Yeah.
up to the other fish, the yellow and the purple tang are about the same size. And
Yeah.
they zoom around the tank chasing each other. But nobody's got any torn fins or ragged spots or anything like that,
Yeah.
or war wounds. So I just think it's horseplay or
The
fish
only
play.
the only fish that's having issue, and where is she? Is my Oh, there she is, way at the back. My only last living saltwater converted Molly she's
Oh
on her way
yeah,
out. I
yeah.
don't think they have a long lifespan. I've
They
had her for
they
a
don't.
couple of
Yeah,
years now,
yeah. I
and
think
she's the last one.
3.5 maybe
Yeah,
might be
yeah,
about it.
yeah. And I got her. She was pretty big, good size. So I've had her for almost, I guess, 2 years now. So
Wow.
yeah, she's probably and she's lonely because all her other friends
Yeah.
passed
Yeah.
for various reasons. Probably the same thing. They were about 3 years old because they were all really large. I
Yeah.
find they convert better when they're larger,
Yes.
and I find that they can handle the flow better when they're larger.
Yeah.
So I try to buy them when they're really big, like as
Yeah.
big as I can
Yeah.
find. And but I'll go get some more. I'll convert them too. I
Yeah.
really like having them.
Yeah. And this is a 90, right?
Yeah,
This tank?
yeah.
Yeah, T40 is just asking what size tank it is.
47 and a half by 22 back, I think, and
Yeah.
21 high or something.
Yeah.
I don't know exact number on the back because I always get it mixed up, but it's less than 24 inches high. So
Yeah.
it's like it's more like a lagoon style, I guess you would call it.
Yeah. I love the shallower tank.
Yeah, me
I
too.
mean, and the stupid Euro brace, I say stupid, but I need it. But it just makes it so hard to reach in. I can't imagine being able to do anything in this tank if it was 24 inches deep. There's just no
Yeah,
way.
yeah. I tested my arm when I had it at the store. I
Yep.
was testing to make sure I still can't reach the bottom of the back of it.
Yep.
If I stand up, I can on my stool,
Yep.
but it's basically at my armpit, the 22 inches, so I can
Yep.
reach the bottom with scraping and picking stuff up on my
Yep.
tippy toes because I'm only 5'2". So
Yeah. Yeah. We have a ladder that has 3 steps on it, and if I get on the very top step, if I can't stand up because my head would hit the ceiling. But if I'm right up, like probably my knees are midway up the tank at that point. I can lean over and reach almost to the center back,
yeah,
but like no more, like I'm at least a foot away. I say almost, but if I had to actually do anything with that hand, I probably couldn't because I wouldn't
yeah.
have the proper reach.
I have my tongs and there's my little
Yeah.
step stool down there,
Yep.
and my junk pile of stuff, food
Oh,
and cleaning. That's from my old tank that I used to have as a quarantine tank, but I kept the stand and I put the aquarium out on the curb and somebody took it, so that was great.
nice.
There's nothing wrong with it. I just couldn't be bothered selling it for $10, so I
I
said,
know.
put it on the grass, and somebody took it. But I kept the stand because it's perfect for um, putting all your junk. I try to keep it clean, but
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this is in my kitchen, hallway, living room area, so I can't really have downstairs. Now that's a different story. Where the sump is.
Yeah, it's never bad to have extra storage ever.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
I'm the same. I will not get rid of shelves or bookcases or anything that has doors on it. Even if we're
yeah.
not using it, we always keep it because the next thing you know, you find a use for it and you're glad you never got rid of it because you can't replace them.
Look at look
You
at
know?
look at all this space I have.
Yeah.
All this space I have down here.
Yeah.
that's just a rat's nest of wires. And I could put shelves in here, and I would have so much storage space because
You know what
it used to have a sump. Well, it was made to have a
yeah.
sump in it.
Yep. You know what you can get that might help you from the dollar store for I think $4 each are little metal wire grid racks that have
Oh,
foldable
cool.
legs. And then the cool thing about them is that you fold the legs out and they clip into like you can stack two of them, you can stack them up
Oh,
because
neat.
the top of each leg has a little bracket in it. So if you put another one on top, it clicks into the little bracket. I have those
Oh,
all over my house. I absolutely love them. And they're white. They're really
oh, okay.
tidy and there's such a great way to make good use of vertical space like that. You know,
Yeah,
you can put smaller stuff on it, you can lay stuff down. That's where I keep a lot of my little containers and tools and stuff like that downstairs in the Billy bookcases.
yeah. Well, here is my tool container.
Ah, yes.
Little garbage can hiding behind a chair so nobody sees it.
And about once a year, you force yourself to take everything out and give it a rinse because my God, it gets gross, doesn't it?
Yes, yes. I
Down
put
in the bottom.
paper towel, and tin foil because I actually poked a hole in the bottom of it with my. I I had a really bad bubble algae outbreak. Oh, maybe 2 years ago. It's gone now. It just went away on its own. Um, and I made a tool with a stick, was from an old scrubby thing that
Yeah,
snapped in,
yeah.
and I just took zip ties and a dental tool that I got like Harbor Freight or whatever, and I used to use that to snap the bubbles out, like pop them out and then collect them with a net. So, but it's pointy on the end, really sharp, and I dropped that thing in that bucket all the time, and it went right through to the floor,
Oh, boy.
pierced a hole in it. So I'm like, oh, that's really good. Yeah.
Oh, we got a couple more people here. Hey, Deep Reef. And there's Casey Wagner. Stupid internet wouldn't work. Hey, Broke Reef Man 45. Glad you could make it. Deep Reef has a question. I don't know, Kathy. Have
Sure.
you ever made fish food? This is, I guess, a general question. Have you ever made fish food at home? Should I get some squid and some clams? What else would you add? I buy LRS Reef Frenzy. It's getting hard to find. It's sort of expensive. My first, right off the top of my head, if you look at Fish of Hex channel, he has videos of making his own fish food, and that's what he does.
Yeah,
And
I saw
he
that.
goes, yeah, yeah. And I actually bought the little chopper from Walmart back when I could still go across the border and pick stuff up, because you can't get the weensy one that's only
Yeah.
like maybe a cup and a half, 2 cups maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get that here in Canada, but Walmart in the States had it for like $11.99. So I got one and went over there and picked it up at the mail place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I
Yeah.
tried once. I bought this little, like, it's like a drink blender, not like a cheap version of Mr. Bullet or something like that. And
Mhm.
I bought squid and scallop. I bought this stuff, and I put in like nori and greens and everything like that. My fish didn't like it at all. I don't know if I put something in it, I don't know, I put some amino in it or something. I'm not even sure. I made it once. It stunk. Said, no, not doing that again. So no, I haven't done it since. That was
I
about
wanna I wanna
4 years ago.
I wanna try it
Yeah.
and see what happens. I mean, I just use the cubes from Hikari
Yeah, me too.
of, mysis and the fortified brine shrimp with the spirulina.
Yep.
When I can get krill in the cubes, I get it. If you get
I got that.
if you get it in the big packages, it's got those giant crustaceans in it that
Yeah, they're
just float around
huge.
the
I use
tank.
those for
Yeah.
my anemones. But yeah, the cube ones are like extruded into like little tubey things, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fish like them. They go
Yeah.
after them.
Yeah, and I get the mega marine mix from Hikari, the ocean plankton. Um, uh,
Where do you get that stuff? Where do you buy it?
well, I actually paid to ship it from Vancouver
Okay.
because
Yep.
JL Aquatics, JNL,
Yes.
HJL,
I love those
they
guys. Yep.
they carry all of that stuff, and it's a little bit less than some of the, local vendors.
Yep.
So I loaded up an order of like $200 worth of fish food
Hmm.
and paid the overnight shipping, and it came frozen. And I mean, it was expensive shipping. It was $65 to ship
Yeah.
it overnight.
Yep. Yeah.
But when you average the number of packs I got with the price, it worked out to be exactly the same. And they have the full selection of frozen. Now,
Okay.
you have to ask them if they'll do it for you.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do it in the summer. I did
No.
it in the January, in the dead of winter, and everything came like perfectly still frozen, FedEx overnight or whatever it was, UPS, I can't remember. But I had a store credit, and that's why I did it.
Okay.
So I thought, well, might as well. And I'm just running out of the krill now, so it lasted me 6 months. But
Yeah.
I'm a heavy feeder, and my fish are pigs. So
Yeah, that's good. I like fat fish personally.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, um I ordered live pods from them and I paid the shipping and it was around $45, I think.
yeah,
And I can't remember, I think it might have been UPS 2-day shipping.
hmm,
And because it wasn't frozen, it had to be cold.
yeah, yeah,
And so I threw some hydrospace but microbial yellow snow in there and some of
hmm,
the PNS substrate sauce, stuff like that.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
that
I
stuff.
tried those. I tried them. I didn't notice any difference. I also did notice that I had a huge increase in nitrate phosphates from it.
Yeah,
Now I know that the substrate sauce is generally used for cycling and has phosphates in it, so
yep.
it probably wasn't the best choice for a high nutrient tank. But like I said, I didn't notice really any difference anything different than like Microbacter 7, or I dose some Aquaforest Pro Bio S and the NP once a week, just like 5 drops a
Yeah,
wec,
yeah,
just to
yeah,
keep biodiversity different.
yeah.
Uh,
I look for as many different things as I can get.
yeah.
And can you turn your phone sideways? Are you
Oh,
able to do
sure.
that?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
awesome. Oh no, it's okay. I was just sitting here
Just
chatting, and T40 is just asking about that. Yeah, perfect. That looks good. They'll come back. There we go.
Oh, sorry about that. It's more
That's
comfortable
okay.
holding it the other way.
I know, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I do try to
Oh, I
vary
cleaned
what I
my
put
one of
in.
my pumps today. That's
Oh,
I also cleaned my power head today. My one power head over there today. So I did some.
yeah. That's
Or
always
I did.
fun because then you get
Yeah.
to see the
Well, you can
float.
tell it slows down. It slows down about every 2 weeks. I just basically, I don't take it out. I just take it out over the side, wipe it down, clean the impeller out,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
wipe it down and not toothpick, cotton swab, anything,
yeah,
and put it back on. And then everything goes crazy because the flow is really strong. And then
yep,
it dies down over the couple of weeks. So,
yeah. Well, you know what we've started doing? I talked about the ladder. We get the ladder with a bucket on it and put water and citric acid in it, and we just pull them out of the tank and put them down in the bucket
yeah,
and
I don't
leave
want
them
to
all
undo all the
plugged in.
wires.
Yep, and just leave them all plugged in. We've got enough slack in the wires because how we set up our electrical was so that no cords had to go across the back. So we have lots of slack available. And so we just drop them in the bucket and run them for a while in the citric acid. And then just exactly like you described, take them apart and just kind of clean what you can. It's amazing how well that works as long as you don't let it get away on you as far as
Yeah.
waiting too long. Like if you wait
The
too
only
long, yeah, then you have to work on it a little bit.
the gyre has to be actually removed because it's not just pull off, because I have
Yeah,
a gyre on this side, and I
yep.
don't clean it nearly enough, but I don't really need that much flow, so I let it go 3-4 months before I clean it. I used to have two of those, and one of them, the motor block, I believe, is gone on it.
Mm,
And I had one of the motor blocks replaced, but now they're way out of warranty.
yeah,
So when I clean that one, I'm going to have to take it out and take all the parts apart and do it. So I'd like to get another gyre that's a little bit longer, a little bit bigger, but it
yeah.
seems to be
What
doing the job. I've got good flow.
what type are they? What brand
Uh,
are they?
that's a Ice Cap 1K, so it's old. I bought it in 2018, 2019,
Yeah.
18, I think, something like that. Yeah.
Well,
They
one
weren't
thing,
available in Canada. I got it I got it from BRS and had it shipped to my mailbox,
right.
and
Yeah.
brought them over when it was like $100 or something like that on Black Friday.
Yeah. Why?
Back then, way
Oh
back
man,
then.
I used to do so much of that. I saved crap loads of money by doing
Hmm.
that and just going over and getting it. But of course, you really can't do it now
Well,
with
not until they
the
get rid of
major
that stupid
hassle. Yeah,
Rive canned stuff.
no kidding.
I'm
No
not
kidding.
going in.
Well, we have the Max Spec jump gyres, and I have to say I like them. And one thing my husband said was about taking them apart is when you put them back together, they're color coded. So
That's
it's easier
perfect.
to make sure that you put the right side back on the right side and the left side back on the left side because they're directional.
Yeah.
And I
Mine have
really
it.
like them.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I really like them.
Yeah, I like it because I like the laminar flow it goes across the top.
Yeah.
Um, and but I also like the little bit of a bounce, so I have the other one that is on like wave mode, and it's
Yep.
just a single. Actually, it's an Amazon
Yeah.
RPM Reef Breeder knockoff kind of thing.
Yeah. I have a
Uh,
couple. At least
I
a couple.
have the Jabo ML, no, the M, whatever,
S
the one that the
SLW.
20.
Yep.
No,
The
the one
SL.
that looks like the Nero.
Yep. I think those are the SLWs, the flat ones.
Yeah, the flat one,
Yeah.
SLW 20, but my glass is too thick for the magnet.
Oh.
So every time like the urchin or a snail bumps into it, it knocks it off the flow to a different angle. And if I wake up in the morning, it could be shooting out to the side or the other side. I'll use
Oh
it
man.
again because I really liked it. It was like, it's so quiet. I mean,
Yeah.
this one's quiet too. All my pumps are very quiet. My tank
Yeah.
is, except for the lights, those are the loudest thing on my tank. And the buzzing or the fans on the AIs.
Yeah. Hey, Chili Wills Reef. He's asked. He said, "Beautiful reef aquarium. Has she always used AI Prime?"
No, no, I started off with Current USA
Yeah,
strip lights when I first met, like in 2014.
like we all do.
Um,
Yeah.
and then I went to SB Reef lights, and it was a giant big black box,
Yeah.
and it was too much. Like it was way overpowered for my tank. I was running it so low, and things were not doing well because it was too much light. So I sold it, and then I went to a uh, T5 AI Prime hybrid. So I had two AIs and then the T5s, and I only went 36 inches, so there was enough because most of my stuff is low light and doesn't
Right.
need. I don't have a par meter, so I have no idea what my par is.
Yeah.
And then I just decided I got sick of it, and I bought a used 16 HD, put it in the middle, bought another mount, and switched that over this year, in like early this year, like in February or something.
Right. Yeah.
And I much like it. Like I like it.
Yeah.
And everybody just responded. Like all my corals responded like incredible.
Yeah. I have an AI Prime. Just AI Prime. It's the 16, but I don't remember it having that number when I bought it. It's a couple years old. It was just
Yeah,
AI
Prime.
Prime.
There was Prime, and then they came out with the Prime HD,
Yeah.
and I have two of those. And then they came out with the Prime 16 HD, and I
Yeah.
have the one in the middle. It's different. The lighting is the you can see that the one in the middle there. The lighting is the lights are recessed a little bit in, where these ones are flush with the bottom. So
Yeah.
you get a little bit more. But
Oops.
yeah, I really like them. They work for a softy tank.
And
LPS
honestly,
softy tank.
the quality of the color that you get with those things, when especially
Yeah.
doing video, the video looks like the tank looks. It always
Yeah.
blows my mind. And until you get really like ramping down into the very, very blue ranges,
Yeah.
during the daytime, they look absolutely wonderful. And it
Yeah.
is, I think I have an HD, a Prime HD,
Yeah.
over that tank. And honestly, I won't sell that light. I'll keep it because it's something that can be used on any small tank.
Yeah,
And
I replaced both of the lenses in my HDs because I was running the AB plus, which is overclocking your
yeah,
UV, and it burnt the lenses.
yeah,
So I managed to find a retailer that's just sold the lenses called AI. They said, oh, they're the same as the 32s, so get them. So I replaced them. I don't know if my LEDs inside are 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 burnt or just the lens is burnt. I didn't have a way to check it, so I just put them new ones in, and now one of my fans is going. But these are quite old,
yeah,
so I'm on the lookout for some 16 HDs to replace these two,
yeah,
and then for my anemone tank, I'll probably use a prime as well, just because.
right. Yeah. It's a nice design too. It's clean
Yeah,
looking.
yeah.
You can hang them from the ceiling if you want. I always hung
Hmm.
mine from the ceiling, except now it is on an arm, and I really like. I
Yeah,
like the light a lot.
yeah. I had they're still up there. I
Yeah,
had my T5s hung from the ceiling,
yeah,
and it was nice, but I still have it. I still have it. I still have brand new bulbs for it. I wasn't going to sell it because as soon as I sell it, I'll say, well, I would like to try that again.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
not selling that because I used to do that all the time. I would
yeah,
change something and sell what I had. And then
yep.
I'm like, why did I sell that? I want to try it again. So
It
now I
ta-
pretty
it
much,
it takes a while to learn not to do
yeah,
that, and that's
yeah,
why once you've been in the hobby for 10 or 12 years, you have so much crap everywhere.
yeah. But you never know what happens if
It's
these all
true.
lights burn out, and
I
I'm not
know,
good,
right? Well, or if your husband decides to buy himself a 35 tall that he might someday set up, and you go, well, which one of these four lights would you like to put over it?
Yeah. We're actually using the T5s with the expired old, like 2-year-old bulbs in it to grow vegetables in the basement in the wintertime.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, hey, Murphy's Aquatics. Nice of you to drop by, Pat. That's cool. Yep, I have, and I still have a project that I want to do for replicating moonlight because I thought it would be really cool to get a light that you could adjust the intensity with a timer. So you would
Hmm.
be able to say, okay, light, come on between this time and this time at 2%. And then the next day, it would be at 4%. The next day, 5, to replicate the cycles of like the phases of the moon, right?
Your fixture doesn't have that feature?
Well, no, I just want a point source because the thing
Oh.
is, moonlight is 4100 K.
Ah.
So what you need is a bulb that's 4100 K that you can mount far enough away from your tank to simulate the quantity of light that the moon would actually put out into the water.
Oh.
Because I was reading some studies about light pollution, and apparently coral reefs do suffer when there's light pollution. For example, along the coastline, where was it? Some places in the Red Sea and along Africa, there are
Oh.
noticeable negative effects on the coral reefs when there's a lot of, like, there's a large city that throws a lot of light pollution. And that's one of the
Oh.
reasons I don't run a moonlight phase overnight in my tanks. I stopped doing that about, oh, I don't know, I stopped doing it in the Red Sea tank quite a while ago because of this thing I read about light pollution not being good for the coral.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started reading more about when they were doing coral spawning
Spawning.
experiments. And I thought, well, like, wouldn't it be cool if you could get a light bulb that was the right Kelvin to replicate the moon, and then you could get a fixture that you could just dangle over your tank
Mm-hmm.
and attach it to a timer that would do what I was talking about, where slightly like change it. Well, the timer I got on Amazon has a 30-day program, if you can believe it.
Oh, wow.
So I can do that. So I'm going to pick a place in the world someday when I have time, some mythical point in the future when I have time, and I'm going to look for charts of phases of the moon and see, okay, day one, how much light, like what is it? Is it like 1/32 or 1/16? Like what is it of the 100%? And
Right.
figure out the percentages, and then set up the program so that every day is incrementally different till it reaches the full moon, and then it phases down again, and then it goes to the new moon. So I just thought that'd be really cool to try and do just to accomplish it. And so that,
Supposedly, though, the primes have a lunar cycle.
yeah,
So based on the internet or to your Wi-Fi connection, it knows what day it is and it knows what the weather is and whether it's cloudy or sunny, like cloudy at night. And supposedly, now I've never tried it. I can't
yep,
say
yep.
if this is real or not, but
Hmm.
supposedly, like some days you'll walk by your tank at midnight and it'll be dark because it's cloudy and there's no moon, and
Yep.
the different phases of the moon cycle. I've never tried it, and I don't know if it works, but supposedly
Well,
that's,
Murphy's saying reef breeders' lights already work like that. See, but
yeah,
I don't know what color they use because moonlight isn't blue. It's actually white. It's actually
right.
white light at 4100K.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I don't know
you
if
know,
you've got a prime, you should try it on your on your
yeah, I
on
should. I
your
should.
tank and see, like go by and see in the middle of the night. Is it on every night or is it just on when it's cloudy, or
Right.
not on when it's cloudy and on when it's slightly cloudy, or full moon or half moon or
Yeah.
waxing or waning and all that stuff?
Yeah. 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 Pretty cool. It's amazing what you can do with light these days.
Mhm.
And I've also considered just getting a single Kessel light, like one of the round ones, the canister ones, to
Mhm.
hang over right over the middle of my tank, just for the shimmer.
Like the
Nothing else.
500, the
Yeah,
big 500X or whatever,
just
the big one that points right down.
yep, just for the shimmer. Because
Nice.
I absolutely love it. Every time you see
Yeah.
tanks with a very particular look to them, it's usually because they're Kessel.
Yeah. I have a lot of shimmer. Some people don't. People say, "Oh, you've got a lot of shimmer." So, oh yeah, I like it.
You know what? I like it too.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see it much. Yeah, see, you can't really see it a lot right now
yeah.
because of the tank is not really that much in focus. Yeah. Yeah, she's looking full, especially when you look from the front because
Yeah.
it's so deceptive, you know, my husband, he loves bringing people in on a tour, you know,
Oh
because
yeah.
he loves the holy shit reactions from people, right?
I can't even imagine what it looks like in person. I watched your video. Was it yesterday? The rock one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And then the one before that where you were showing all the corals and where they were
yeah,
and all that. I mean, I can't even imagine how big that, I sometimes look at my tank and I go, "Oh my God, this thing is huge." It's like a third, not even, maybe less than the third of the size. And I'm like, I can't even imagine what 6 feet tank would be like, or 5 feet tank would be.
well, it's really deceptive because when you stand in the front and look at it, it doesn't look very far to the back. It looks shallow,
Oh
like
yeah.
it looks close. And then you
Yeah.
walk around the corner and it's like, whoa, you keep going
Yeah.
and you keep going. And
Yeah.
so from the front, it does look really jammed. But then as you walk around, you can see that there's still lots and lots of space between the
Yeah.
corals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Murphy's,
mine is, it's like, it's a visual, it's visually hard to fathom the depth
yeah,
because it's quite wide. Mine's quite
yeah,
wide,
front to back. Yeah,
but from the front it looks like shallow, so
yeah,
it looks closer
yeah,
visually.
yeah. It's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, and that's about it. My
Well, it's
toadstool's
looking
not
good.
happy today. Yeah. Yeah.
Toadstool.
You
Yeah.
mentioned reset. I might not, I don't know if I'm getting another tank, I'm probably not going to do a reset because I'll be removing a bunch of stuff.
Sure.
But,
Yeah.
but if I have a fish trap, I can catch Bob in 5 minutes.
Awesome. All right. Well,
Cause
we'll work on that premise.
yeah,
That you know,
yeah.
we'll figure it out whenever you're ready. Because getting into
Oh,
the
I'm
fall, I
ready
mean,
anytime.
okay, cool, cool. Yeah, the pectinia will shock you. Have
Oh,
you got
I gotta find
space?
room for it. That's why
I was just gonna
I
say.
need another tank. I'll
Well, the
find
thing
room.
about it
I'll find or
is,
make room.
well, or you could put it like if you have any kind of a frag rack that's fairly deep front to
Yep.
back, or you can even make one out of egg crate using a mag
Yep.
float. I've done that.
Yep.
You could temporarily put it up on the wall of the tank somewhere,
Yeah.
just to
I
keep
have
it
one of
away
these.
from.
I have one of these things. Where is it? My camera. It's like a little. It's like a. It
Oh
hangs on the
yeah, yeah.
side,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and it's pretty deep. And I use it when I get frags, or I use it for all kinds of things like working on the tank. And then I've got two of them, so then I use one for if I have a frag of something that I don't want to
Yep.
deal with right away.
Yep.
Because I usually put all my frags on rocks. But sometimes,
Yeah.
you get it 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The last thing you want to do is glue it. So I stick it up
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah. Yeah, that would be
I've got
perfect actually, because then you can keep it away from everything until you figure where you want to put it. Just because of the
yeah,
tentacles, they're pretty crazy.
keep it away from the fish that might be tasting it.
I don't know. I've never seen my fish nip at it,
Oh, okay, that's good.
so I don't know
Yeah,
whether
they
the
don't. They
flesh.
only nip. They only nip at certain things. Like, but as soon as they nip once, that's all they need to nip, and then they go on their happy way. Like they'll nip. No one's really nipped at anything. But they do nip at new things. They go, oh,
Yeah,
tasty. Let's try it. Let's try it.
that's
Oh
right.
no, no
They
good.
gotta
Oh,
find out. Yeah, they
I
gotta
just
find
hope they don't find one that they like.
out. Yeah, I don't know what this stuff tastes like, but it's pretty fluffy when it fills up, like during the day when the light is on and it's looking happy. They are fluffy. Quite
Yeah.
surprised me. The very first one I ever saw must have been in pretty high flow because the flesh was tight against the skeleton,
Hmm.
and the skeleton was really spiky and had branches sticking out everywhere. And it was like
No,
really, really alien looking. And then
that
when I
doesn't sound
got
like it's
one,
supposed to.
well, that's why I think it was in high flow, that
Hmm.
it was doing well, but it had adapted, and it was really, really tight to the skeleton. Uh,
Right.
yeah, mine are just actually it's basing out.
Oh, I'm
Both
coming
of
on.
mine are basing out, and they're finally starting to shoot vertical spines now.
Oh wow.
So that's
Wow.
cool. Oh, hey, hey, Reefing with
That's cool.
O. Welcome. And there's NSB Reefs. Oh, and Murphy's Aquatics says they are blue. I guess we were talking about the reef breeders,
Blue ones.
moonlight. Yeah. Yeah.
Tank's starting to go blue now. Starting to go into its night mode.
Yeah. I don't know what mine is doing. Oh, the one at the back is off now. So it's slowly. I left my alcove light on, and I guess we'll see when all the lights go off in the tank, see what it looks like on camera if we're still here,
That would be
because that'll
like a
be like
moonlight.
11 o'clock. Yeah,
That would be
well,
like a
on it,
moonlight, the alcove.
you should see the shimmer when it's a white light. It's one of those sort of not halogen, LED spotlights. It's over the sink
Mm-hmm.
in the alcove back there. And when you look at the way the surface ripples and whatever, the shimmer is unreal in here when that thing is on. Because I turn it on sometimes if I need to do something or check on something, or if I want to pour something in the tank and make sure I get it in the right spot for the flow. Yeah,
Cool.
it's cool. So I just thought I'd leave it on and see what it does. How's the Raja Rampage doing, Cindy? It's doing really well. It hasn't got any more new eyes. It went from 3 to 7 in about 6 weeks, and now it's starting to grow bigger. So I look at it every day just to see. It got knocked off once, so I put it in a little different spot with a little more glue under it. And where I put it, there was like a little round hole in the rock. So I kind of hoped to get the glue down in there so the snail or whatever it was couldn't knock it off next time. And yeah, we'll see how it does. I think it's actually getting a little more light how I have it oriented right now. But apparently Pat had one that was huge he had to throw away because nobody wanted it. So sad. It's horrifying almost. Yeah.
Oh, I hate that. I do that. Have to do that sometimes, with zinnia and Sesquiterraria
Yep.
because nobody wants it. So it breaks my heart every
Yep.
time.
Yep. NSB, I got mine about the same time as you. I have 8 eyes now. Oh, cool. The Humble Reefer, my Aqua Illumination 32 has the moon phase. You can turn it on or off and add the intensity you want to use. Oh, I'm going to have to take a look at that in the app. Murphy says the frag off of it is almost as big again already. Oh boy. Yeah, they grow fast when they're happy. And I realized today, for the 3rd week in a row, because my calcium is not keeping up with the dosing, I'm dosing double the amount of calcium, the Fusion 1 of the CChem stuff, than the alkalinity. And I think I'm going to have to go with some Kalkwasser because I can't dose anymore of the actual Fusion stuff. The reason I don't want to dose more is because of trace elements. I don't want to overdose on the trace elements that are in that stuff. And I thought a while back about going with Kalkwasser. I think I'm going to set that up in this coming week because we've crossed that line. We've reached the threshold, and it will also help my pH a little
Yeah.
bit. We've got it steady up around 8.0 something. Sometimes it goes up to 8.17. And as long as we have our HRV on and windows open, we also got a CO2 monitor so we could just get a sense of what the CO2 is in the house at various points, because of you can't always run the HRV if it's stupid humid outside because it'll shut down. And the idea is not to draw all that humid air in while you're running your air conditioner. So it's kind of a balancing act. So I need something that's going to help with my pH for the times when the HRV isn't going to be able to circulate the air as much as I need to. So it's going to be Kalkwasser. Casey Wagner, did
I
Mark?
started
Go ahead.
Kalkwasser. I was using.
You're
Oh
cutting out
no,
a
go
little.
ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just going to read a comment, but you
Oh,
said
my
you started
phone.
using Kalk.
I started using Kalkwasser a couple of weeks ago. I've been coming in on it for years because I have very low demand.
Yeah.
And I was using ESV like 8
Yeah.
mils. That's it, because the
Oh
coralline
boy.
algae was sucking it up. And
Yeah.
so I decided to try it. Okay, but coincidentally, it was also cool, so I had my windows open a lot, and I'm around the
Yeah.
same thing. I can barely get I can get to 8.1. Maybe it's the basement sump. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if it's the windows open and the 8.0 instead of the 7.8 or 7.7, or the Kalkwasser, but everything looks better.
Yeah.
Like it
Exactly.
looks puffier and better. So I don't know. It's now the windows have been closed for 3 days. My pH is back down to its poor, disgusting low 7.7. And I'm just monitoring. I'm still doing the Kalkwasser, but only doing it at night, and monitoring my alkalinity, and
Yeah.
it's holding steady. So,
Yeah.
but it's very like 600 mils a day of Kalkwasser, which is nothing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's an
Murphy
experiment.
says,
I'm always.
I think you have to give it a shot. I always looked at it as a
Yep.
progression. You start with water changes, then they can't keep up. Then you do the dosing, and then
No, I
it
hate them.
can't keep up. I know. And then you do the
Yeah, mine's not a
Kalkwasser.
keep up. Mine's not really a keeping up, because my ESV was keeping up just fine. It was just, you know what, I can't really do much more with this tank until I, remove some items and stuff like that. And so I thought,
Yeah.
I'm going to just do little experiments, right? I've never used it. Everybody says it's helps with your phosphates and all that kind of stuff because it encourages growth. Therefore, they use
Yep.
more nutrients. I haven't
Yep.
really noticed any pH boost, but I'm not dosing enough, I guess, to make a difference. But there's just something different. The tank looks different. I can't describe it. It looks, I don't know, bigger.
Yeah,
Looks
yeah.
bigger. So I don't know if that's
Everything is just
what
well,
it
the
is.
stuff just gets that little bit fluffier, and I notice I've got polyp extension on a lot of the acros. They're not huge and long and hairy, but they're out. The polyps are out.
Hmm.
So that's got to mean something. Something's making them
Yeah,
happy. Yeah.
yeah. And everything's like, I went through phases where zoas were melting. I went through phases where pulps were bailing out, hammers were bailing and all that kind of stuff. And now, like, I mean, it's stabilized and
Yeah.
everything's
Yeah.
happy. So it's like, I'm not resting on my laurels, but by no means. I still do my testing every week. I test every week.
Yeah.
And alkalinity a couple of times a week because of the kalkwasser. I want to see what it's doing. I didn't want it to
Yeah.
go shooting up
Yeah.
too high. So, but everything seems good.
Yeah, Murphy says he took his calcium reactor offline and he's just doing calc and two-part. Calc plus 2. I don't know
Nice.
what that means. 130 mils of calc in 24 hours and 40 mils of two-part in 24 hours. Okay. 130 mils per hour, calc plus 2, and 40 mils two-part every day. Hmm. I'm just bumping my ALK
I
back
think
up to
Calc plus
40
two is
mils.
the, well,
It's the what?
it's the Brightwell. I think it's because it's supposed to have calc and
Oh,
something
yeah,
else
yeah,
in it.
yeah, yeah. That's right.
Some
Yeah,
some trace elements or magnesium or something. I'm not sure.
yeah.
I
Yeah, the
use them
C-Chem that I
regularly.
use, yeah. Yeah, that's why I went with the C-Chem Fusion because it has the trace elements. And
Hmm.
I'm also using Coral Essentials, which are the really, really super concentrated things that you put in a drop at a time sort of thing. But I'm starting to run out of it. And
Hmm.
I'm not able to buy it in Canada. I have to import it from
Oh,
Australia. And
oh.
it's stupid expensive. Not that that's a huge problem, but because it lasts, every time I buy a shipment, it lasts over a year. And it costs somewhere around $240, something like that, to get in the large bottle of each of the 5 elements that you need, the amino, the GRRL, and then the ABC trace elements. But if the fusion will, because it has trace elements, the two-part, fusion 1, fusion 2, if that works, then that might be the way to go for me for trace elements instead of having to do the Coral Essential dose every day. So I don't know. I'll have to wait and see what happens. I haven't done an ICP test in a while to figure out what the trace elements are. I might have to do that.
No, me neither. Me neither. I have one. If I got a couple of years ago, I have to do it. I
Yeah.
have to mail it to the
Yeah.
States, so that's a
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah. Calc in WV. Oh, hey, WVU Reefer. The Humble Reefer says, I run calc slurry in my frag system at a constant drip of 1.7 mils per minute. All my sticks encrust as fast as you blink, lol. WVU Reefer, calc in top off with 15 mils of alk and 0.07 mils acro power every day. Will bring calc reactor back online when this isn't sufficient. Yep. Murphy goes, nice guys. I tell you, I don't know why I didn't install a calc stirrer sooner, but that thing is awesome. I have a pH probe set up with it. NSB is dosing calc 24/7, getting ready to just dose at night. He's hitting 8.6 more times than I like. Wow. Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
that's a
the
little
thing.
high.
Yeah, I don't, I'd be quite happy to consistently be around 8 too. That would make me happy. I don't know that I want the excessive
Me,
growth, only because I don't want to constantly having to trim and change things to accommodate growth. If it goes a little slower, my theory is that it'll be um, maybe a little more hardy in a way. The branches will be thicker and all of that. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But I remember from the other tank, the Red Sea
Yeah.
tank, constantly having to trim that stuff back. And the problem with it is, like, yeah, sure, it's nice to get all the frags, but um, everything looks so crappy after you trim it. Like you can't often just cut
Hmm.
one branch and you're done and it works. A lot of times you have to trim a lot of branches, and there's always just that one cut you make where you turn your wrist the wrong way and the whole colony comes off. And that happens so often to me. It just, and it's such a, oh, anyway, a lot of swearing. So I'm quite
But
happy to have
I
things grow
think,
a little slower.
yeah, I think the pH though being low, and if you have a lot of stony corals, I think the skeletons become brittler. I mean, yes,
Hmm.
you'll get more growth higher,
I
but if it
agree.
goes too low, like
Yeah. Yeah.
7.7, and when you're getting to 7.6, you're getting into acid, like
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
makes them brittler, and they can't calcify
Yeah.
as easily, keep the heavy duty skeleton, so they become more brittle. I
Yeah.
don't have a lot of stony corals, but I'm sure it has a similar effect, on
Oh, yeah.
soft corals melting, because acid melts stuff.
Yep. That's right. Well, and they
So
need calcium too, and they need to metabolize it as
sure they do.
well. So if they can't metabolize it, it affects
Yeah.
their growth. Yeah. No,
Yep.
I've never seen pH in the system go below 7.77. And that was when, during the winter,
Oh, you're
we didn't have the windows open for days. We had lots of people here, and it was only for, like, I don't know, a couple hours in the afternoon. Most of the time, if it's below 8, it's like 7.97. So at least it's hanging in
yeah.
at that level. We've got an air stone in. We've got one of those multi-port heavy-duty air pumps, and it draws air in from
Oh, cool.
outside, and it pumps to an air stone in the 150, an air stone in the return section of the sump. There's the skimmer, and the skimmer draws air from it as well. So we're pumping air from outside into 3 different places downstairs in the sump, and I can't help but think that helps too, you know?
Oh, it does. I was thinking of doing that, but where my sump is and how small it is, the salt creep from the bubbles would be horrific.
Yeah, yeah,
So I haven't done that yet. I go from out. I do pull from outside from my skimmer, but I haven't gone so far as putting a pump outside, or drawing pump air from outside with a pump and running an air bubbler. Um, it's
yeah,
on the list of possibilities for sure,
yeah.
because mine gets down
Well,
to
we're
7.7.
yeah. Yeah, and it's worrying. And the Red Sea tank, when I before I really started to address the pH thing, when I first started measuring it, when I got the monitor, it was very concerning. Like you look at it, you sort of panic. It's like, oh my God, like how can this stuff be healthy when it's this low all the time?
Yeah, yeah. I got a monitor this year as well. Um, uh, the first the first probe, I don't know, I damaged it. So one day I go down, it goes 8.5. I'm like, yes. And then I thought, no, that can't be right. so I tried to calibrate it. It wouldn't calibrate. So I bought a new probe for it, a double junction probe, and calibrated that. And yeah, it was now where I suspected it was. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
And you know what else I noticed? When I ran the American Pinpoint monitor on batteries, you could always tell when the batteries needed replacing because you come in and the pH would be 9.1. It'd be
Yeah.
like it would go
Yeah.
8.8, 8.9. And it was like, oh, the first time it happened though, I freaked out. And then
Yeah.
I did some reading and I went, oh, okay. So I changed, and it's a 9-volt battery in there. So I changed the battery and it was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm running. I keep meaning to shut it off and just turn it on when I go down there, but I go down there, frequently, so I always want to glance at it throughout the
Yep.
day. But
Yep.
I'm not chasing it. I'm just now I'm
Hey,
aware of it,
listen,
and I'm
I
going
say
to be
awareness. Yep. I think you
cognizant of
have
it.
to be aware. Exactly. You have to pay attention to it. but that doesn't mean you have to take drastic measures to try and achieve a
Never.
specific target. Like every little
Yeah.
thing you do incrementally raises it, so that it's like a
Yeah.
whole bunch of layers of redundancy. So if something happens and one of those things is offline, you still got enough other things going on that you're not 100% relying on that one thing to manage your pH. And that's how I've
Hmm.
always approached it.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it works for me. Oh, hey, Terrence Little Ocean.
Yeah.
What was I going to tell you here? Oh, the humble reefer suggests if you have room in your sump, add some frags on racks and run it opposite schedule. So I'm assuming you have to have a light. So the light is on at night in
Yeah.
the sump,
I
and
run
that
Chato.
helps. Yeah, yeah. So you have opposite schedule. Yeah, I have Cato on at night too,
I have
overnight.
opposite Chato at night for 12 hours at night. Like it starts at 9 till 9. I run it for 12 hours for two
Yeah,
reasons. The one for just hopefully getting rid of some of the nutrients because it's high. And
yeah,
secondly, for that reason,
yeah.
and it's growing. Like it needs harvesting soon.
Oh, mine too. Did I say hi to you, Taryn? If not, hi, Terrence Little Ocean. Yeah. Hey, Hector. Calypso's Reefs is here. Nice to see you. Yeah. Yeah, that pH thing, like, don't, I felt like such a grown up reef keeper when I started thinking about pH. Because up to then it was, you know what I mean? It was like, it was all like, oh, calcium, magnesium, got to keep this, got to do that, phosphate, nitrate. And then all of a sudden it's like, pH. Now there's pH to worry about. But once you start understanding how
That's the
everything
part I
works
like, though.
together, yeah,
That's the
it's
one I like
true.
about it. I like the chemistry part of it.
Yeah,
Frustrating as it can
yeah,
be sometimes, I really enjoy. I enjoy looking at those issues or looking at maybe not an issue, but looking at that as a big picture and seeing how it all works together. And when it works
yeah,
together well, the corals tell you.
yes, yes. And when you reach that point, it's almost it's a turning point, because it's not that you don't still test, it's that it gives you something, it gives you a reason to test. If you're unsure of something, your corals tell you, it gives you a reason to go and try and figure out what it is, instead of going, oh, what's that doing, instead
Yeah.
of ignoring it, or maybe not paying enough attention to it. It's your clue
Yeah.
that it's time to look into something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Terrence says, "LOL."
No,
I call
no
my big
need
take.
actions. Just make it
Yeah,
slow.
that's right. Oh, I did so many stupid things in the early days, just reacting too quickly without doing enough research and waiting enough time. And these days, the challenge is, when you notice a problem, how long do you wait to see if it'll resolve itself before doing something about it, only to realize
Yeah.
you waited too long, and now instead of a little problem, you got a big problem. Those are the things I try to really
Yes.
stay on top of now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrence Little Ocean says, "LOL." I call my big tank my big girl tank. Yeah, me too. A brute trash can to mix salt water made me feel like a real reefer. Yeah. Yep. I remember when we bought our first brute trash can. That was fun. And we bought the little dolly to go under it too. That thing was the best $40 I've ever spent. Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean about the whole chemistry part of it. And it's like you it's hard to explain until you've been through it, until you've started as a beginner and you've been around for 10 or 12 or however many years, to where you now know why you couldn't absorb everything at the beginning. It's too much, because you have to experience
Yeah.
it to understand how things fit
Yeah.
together and why things work the way they do.
Yeah.
And you can only really take it in certain small amounts. I mean, unless you are already a chemist, or you have a background in that, in marine biology or whatever, and then decide to keep a reef tank. I don't know, but for somebody like me, I it was like incremental. I mean, I'm a reader. I like figuring things out. um, I love troubleshooting, And all of that really, really helped all the way through the hobby, but it does take a long time,
Yeah.
and there's no way you can ever know it all. Even the guys who've been doing it for 30, 25, 30 years say the same thing, that you just can't know it all. You're always learning.
Yeah. The people that say they know it all, stay away from their advice.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
If
yeah,
they say
yeah,
they know it all,
exactly.
they don't know it all. So
Yep,
don't listen to them
yep,
without doing your research first.
yeah,
It's my theory.
yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
But I
Calypso's.
think
Oh no. Sad news alert. No longer have a reef tank. We'll do one in the near future. In the meantime, we'll keep watching and enjoying you guys. Hector, what happened? I'm so sorry to hear that. Murphy says, I have a pond air pump plumbed into an air bar that has ports off of it. Yeah, that's what our commercial air pump has. It's like a square thing, and there's a whole bunch of ports. I think there's like 6 or 8. And I also have multi-ports, but one I use to put in my salt mix can. It helps bring the pH. Oh, that's cool. Up. Hey, Chimp the Reefer. Cool. Lots of comments. Yeah, the info. Don't forget the info you forget, Murphy. Yeah.
true. Very
Oh,
true.
Casey Wagner. Does your brute can have a cat pee odor after the water's in it for a couple of days? Like skunky? Does it get skunky? I think salt water can get skunky anyway. I notice that in my mixing vat sometimes. I don't know what that is though. Interesting. I was like, what the fuck? I checked forums and other people have it too. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's
I don't
something in the
use
salt
a brew
water.
for my mixing. I have a roto. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Taryn says she uses it quickly, so probably doesn't sit very long. So Kathy, are there any other corals that you particularly would like to have that right now you're avoiding because you have no space?
I would like to get a couple more hammer or frog spawn.
Yeah,
Um, uh, I love mushrooms, so, but that's probably about it for now. I'm just, like I
yeah.
said, I've got to do something. I just don't know what to do with some of these giant things. Like this thing is absolutely, I mean, it's growing from like a 1 inch frag to a giant whatever. I don't even know what it's called. It's some kind of leather, but don't ask me what it is.
It's right there, right in
And
front. What we're
I'm
looking at
afraid to frag it.
is it a sinularia maybe? If Alex was here, he
Kind of,
might
but
know.
it's got the small green. Let's see if I can get a better shot of the polyps. It's got small. It's a bad. It's turning blue right now. It's got little
Yeah.
small green polyps on it, and it's mostly pink-ish.
Oh, is it a
And
Nepthia?
I'm afraid to frag it. I don't know. It doesn't look like that. My green one is fluffy. This is just little tiny. It almost looks like the polyps look like kind of like a I don't know, just little tiny. Don't ask me what it is. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I can't remember. If I ever see the guy I got it from, I'll ask him again. I don't even know. It
Yeah.
could be photosynthetic for all I know. But it's
I
growing, so
I
it
think
must be
it's
doing
a I
okay.
think it's a Nepthia. I just googled Nepthia, and basically it's smooth branches and the polyps are kind
Yes.
of spaced apart on little tiny
Yes.
stems on the smooth
Yes.
branches. And they do come
Oh,
in
okay.
pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what is it? Aneptia?
Nepthia. Yeah.
Simularia. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those
I
I
mean,
don't know the names too well.
yeah, I don't know if that's the same as a sinularia or whether they're closely related. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Blue Ridge. Blue Ridge is doing well since since it started regrowing. It was disintegrating at one point. You can see
Yeah.
sort of where there was sort of disintegration, and then I
Yeah.
don't know, just again turn the corner,
Yeah.
and now it's getting all these white growths, extension. Not well, it was Pulps were out the other day, but it's starting to grow like crazy. The only one that's not
Yeah.
happy today is my long tentacle. He's sulking, and I don't know why.
Oh, they do that periodically. They close up
Yeah,
and you go, "What's wrong?" And then 3 days later they open
yeah,
up again.
the big as they were before. So
I have so many of those long tentacle, what I call the weepy toadstool, that are, and they're
yeah,
actually pink. When you put them in bright light, they're the most beautiful pink color.
yeah.
And the tentacles are, I don't know, 2 inches long. They're just crazy. But I was
This
counting
one's really
today, and there's at least 6 of them, babies, in the 150 that have sprouted up everywhere. And I have 3 more in the observation tank. So I think I'm going to be making a bunch of frags of those too, because they're so cool.
those
And then they
that's
get really, really big and they collapse in on themselves, and you got to start all over.
yeah. Those are really good sellers. People love those things.
Yeah. Well, they're so cool looking, and they're healthy. They're really hardy.
They are. I love mine. I wish he was open because he's so spectacular.
Yeah.
Today he said no.
There's the clownfish living in the hammer.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
a hammer? No, those are green hairy mushrooms, aren't they?
mushrooms. And them the ones in the back are living in their anemone. Get out of the way.
Cool. The fish. What are you doing? What are you doing? My grandson was over the other day for they came over for dinner, and he wanted to feed the fish. So we got the ladder out and he stands on top. I pour the pellets in the little cup, and he's just tall enough now that he can reach up and far enough that he can pour the cup into the tank beyond the Eurobrace. So he did that, and usually we feed the fish at the front, but this time we were around the side. And like he jumped when all the fish suddenly raced over and started going nuts on all of the pellets. It was crazy. I wouldn't mind getting them used to eating other places though, because when I put more fish in, that's going to kind of be the strategy, is to
Yeah,
have algae clips spread around so that they're not competing for the same food, and see what I can
yeah.
do to make sure there's not that much aggression.
Do all your tangs eat algae?
Yes, they do.
Algae
Yep,
sheets? Yeah.
they do. Yeah. Yeah, at first, they really didn't know what to do with them because I didn't feed them with the algae sheets from babies. I only started doing it, um, oh, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 months ago, when they were probably 6 or 7 months old, and it did take them a little while to figure out what that was, and now they just go crazy with it.
Yeah.
Now I buy it
Mine
in
are.
bulk.
I bought some. I just needed to get an order up to meet the minimum free shipping, so I ended up buying some, and I didn't realize it had garlic infused in it.
Yeah,
And man, it stinks.
it
And
does.
they love it.
It's
They
true.
love
Oh
it. But
yeah.
oh my God. And it's for fish. It's not like a human. It's not like
Oh
bought it
no.
at from like it's ocean nutrition or something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this stuff reeks. But they
Yep.
love it. They'll eat it. Now I don't have to buy nori for another year. So
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you told me about that because I would seriously consider doing that with JNL. Like those guys are great to deal with.
hmm oh
I'll
yeah,
check
yeah.
first just to make sure though.
Yeah, just say you want to you'll pay for the overnight shipping and you want it
Yep.
and it'll tell you it and they'll do it. I'm sure he'll do it.
Yeah.
He was really good. I was shocked, but
Yeah.
I was really
Yeah, it's worth it,
yeah.
especially
But
for
now
stuff
I'm
you can't
getting
really get.
yeah because they had so many different varieties of the carry that most stores don't. That's
Yeah.
why I wanted to I like they love the Mega Marine Angel, which has got like bits of sponges in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
And
yes. Yep, I have
and
plans for angels. I'm going to get a regal, I think, if I can get a captive bred, and I want a pair of gold flakes.
oh,
And
nice.
I noticed that the Coral Beauty, I thought for sure it would go after the sponge that's all around my bubble coral at the back, but that stuff's still intact. And I've noticed sponge in a couple
Nobody
other
eats sponges.
places. Yeah,
Nobody eats
it's
them in
weird,
my
eh?
tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have two angels and nobody eats them, so. But they eat
Yeah.
the sponge food, so I don't know. Maybe they didn't like the sponge
Yeah.
that I have. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, or it could be the wrong
See.
kind of sponge. I mean, when you think of all like, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of species of sponge that's out there,
Yeah.
we just have a handful in our tanks. I had some yellow sponge on some rocks downstairs, and I don't know where it came from. I'm speculating it might have come from a yellow ball sponge that I had in my Red Sea tank.
Hmm.
I don't know, but so weird. But I figure if I'm going to
I
get some big angels, I should get the right kind of food. And
yeah.
you can't, like, everyone goes, oh, buy a preparation for angelfish. Well, what is that? Like, most marine flakes are just, they show a picture of an emperor angel. So I guess it's supposed to be for angelfish, but yeah,
Marketing. It's marketing.
no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a really gross invasive sponge that, I mean, this thing is nasty, and
Oh,
I can't see it in this light. It's behind the mushroom, and I had it on one rock, and it had literally gone under the sand and was growing on the glass. And when I did
oh
move
boy.
some things around, I had to scrape it off. I had to. This one is growing on the sand again. I just get a razor blade or an exact and cut it away. If it starts encroaching on corals, I have to take the whole coral out and start peeling it back, or chop the corals off of it, because that's what I did. It was so I couldn't even peel it off, and it's like
Wow.
it's kind of like a black sponge, I guess it would be.
Oh
It's
yeah.
yellow. It's yellow, but it turns black. And it's
Oh,
not the yellow,
gross.
the fluffy yellow. It's gross. So I came in on something years and years ago, and once it establishes, like, it's growing on that mushroom rock, but it's still not bothering my Blue Ridge. And as soon as it bothers my Blue Ridge, then surgery needs to happen. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad when you get something like that, and all you can do is try and stay ahead of it.
yep. I try my best, keep ahead of
Yeah.
everything, but sometimes it doesn't work
That's
that
what
way.
it's about, keeping a reef
That's what
tank.
it's That's
What am I gonna
absolutely
walk in
right.
and what am I gonna walk in and find today? One of
Yeah,
the snails
exactly.
knocked off overnight. Well, I came in this morning and my smaller of the two long tentacle plate corals was on an angle off the back of the disc I have it on. I have clay discs that I use for putting the plate corals on because apparently it's bad for them if they get in too much in contact with the sand. It can cause infections along the
Oh,
growing edge on the outside. So I've got them both on a clay disc on the sand. Well, the smaller one was on an angle and it was really puffed up. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, like it almost looked like it was trying to relocate because they do that. They'll fill with water and then they'll just lift up and float somewhere else. It's happened
oh,
before. So I'm
really?
like that one when I had it on the left side, it crept all the way from the back of the open area to the front, which is like almost 2 feet away. And it's been pretty good on this disc until this morning when I saw that it was moved, and I thought, okay, it's either a fish, like a fish brawl, or maybe the snail was crawling along underneath it and just kind of pushed it off. So I'm going to wait and see tomorrow. And if it's doing the same thing, I don't know what I'm going to do because you're not supposed to ever fasten them down.
No?
You have to just place them and they'll do what they want. Like it's not like an anemone that goes all over the place, but if they need to move, they'll fill themselves with water and they'll just kind of drift with the flow.
Oh,
It's the most bizarre thing.
cool.
Oh, we have Pat Murphy. I guess maybe we should add Pat to the stream. It's been like a dog's age. Right now it's just an avatar. Let's see. There, we'll see if he comes along. So yeah, Casey Wagner says, everyone drop your Instagrams. Go for it, everybody. If you have an Instagram account and you want to put it down in the chat, that'd be awesome.
Don't
Mine is
have one.
easy. It's ReefGrrl.
Mine is easy. Don't have one.
Yeah, Instagram is one of those rabbit holes, and honestly, I probably spend way too much time just cruising through because it
Yeah.
really is designed as a time sucker, you know, and to just like get you moving from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And so I
Yeah.
consciously have to decide I'm not looking at it before I go to bed because that'll be another hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just never bothered. I, I don't have time for that. I'd rather spend it doing something else, but I just never bothered. And I know there's a lot of good content and a lot of good people's beautiful pictures and reef tanks. And I just never bothered. I mean, I only signed up for YouTube in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even like signed in. I was watching streams, but I was never being able to comment. And then so I finally broke down and did that,
Yep.
and that would
Hey,
took me like 5 years to do. So
my husband still hasn't signed up for it. So he watches
yeah,
he's the guy that does all the research about stuff. So how long have we been doing this? Since at least 2017. And he's
yeah,
watched countless videos, and he's never um, uh, set it up so that he can actually leave a comment. So
yeah,
yeah,
and participate.
it's
Yeah,
yeah. Diacanthus regal. Yeah, regal angel diacanthus something something something. I forget. And I watch this channel called Viking Reefing on Instagram. Actually, I don't know if I think he's got YouTube. And this guy has a reef tank with big angels. And they always say angelfish are not reef safe, and it's true. Um, and I'm kind of staking my hopes on the whole captive bred idea. The thought that because they're captive bred, they would not have been exposed to nibbling on live coral in their environment and would be already prepared to eat prepared foods and like whatever they're given instead of looking for it in their environment. So I guess it'll be interesting to find out as time goes by how much of that is instinctive versus
well, yeah,
opportunistic, you know?
yeah.
So
That's what I was gonna think. I'm thinking, it's their nature to do, like
exactly.
that's what they do.
Yep.
Whether that can be altered, you let us know, right?
I'll let you know. Well, because I have the big fluffy corals that they like so much.
Yeah,
And I'm holding off on getting a clam again because I really don't want it to get killed by nipping from fish. If it turns out that I can't get the angels that I'm thinking about getting, then maybe I'll get a clam. But for now, I'm just going to see whether I can acquire these fish and see what happens with them as time goes by. It's
yeah,
kind of a long-term plan though, like it's not something I want to do over the next couple of months. I want it to take at least a couple of years
yeah. You've
to
got
to
lots of
let things
space.
develop. And that's the
You,
whole idea. It was to leave lots of swimming room for the fish, and it's one of the things I really enjoy about watching this tank is the fish just they go in and out of all the caves, and there's lots of space for them to, like play with each other for want of a better description.
yeah.
And the spot breast angels are um, having a hard time getting my headset to play through. Okay. Yep. Shall I take you out, Pat? Let me know if I should take you out so you can come back, or you can leave and come back. Maybe get it working. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this habitat. But so far, it's working the way I want it to.
Beautiful.
So,
It's beautiful.
oh, thank you. Took a while to get
Anyway.
here.
Anyway, I'm gonna take off now. It's getting late. I'm getting
Okay.
tired, and
Yep.
I really enjoyed that today.
Thanks, Kathy.
And I will be in touch with you, or send me an email, and
Yeah,
go
we'll
from
figure
there.
it out. Yeah,
We'll
once we get
figure it
into
out.
September, when we get into September, we'll figure
Yeah,
out a day that we can uh, meet up, or
yeah,
I'll bring you the fish trapper. We'll figure it out.
yeah.
And you're
Absolutely.
and you're in. Are you in Grimsby?
No, I'm in
No,
Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I can meet you in Grimsby, but it's not really. It's
Yeah. No,
you're
we don't
picking up
mind coming.
coral from Little Shop.
Yeah, but I was just thinking if he's going to be at the trade center, maybe that's the
Right.
place I could get the coral from him because that's not
Yeah,
too
because
far away. Three
he's
weeks
not in
away.
Grimsby either.
No, but his address is Grimsby. I noticed on Facebook. Maybe that's just for mailing.
Oh, well, I thought he was in. Um,
I thought he was in Niagara on the Lake.
yeah, me too. Oh, maybe he moved. I don't
Yeah.
know. Anyway,
All
take
right.
care, you guys, and I'll
Yeah.
talk to you later.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks for being here,
bye.
Kathy. Good night.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was cool. That was interesting. See, you never know what you're going to learn from people about things that are going on or stuff you should do. And I'm really intrigued to know about a potential choral show in September because that's only 3-4 weeks away. So that would be ideal to see what's going on with that. I like reptiles, but I don't feel like I could ever look after one properly. So yeah. Hey, Skookum Chuck, enjoyed looking at your aquarium, Kathy. Yep. Yeah, it looks really good. I'm surprised at how much you can still see of mine. Water's looking a little hazy again. I can hardly wait to get the UV hooked up to see if that clears up a little bit. The fish are still very active. They're all messing around the front corner. Anyway, so I don't know whether Murphy will be able to make it back in here. See if anyone sent me an email. Nope. So here, I'll put the banner up again. When you do the link for live chat, can you do it on a cell phone? Yes, you can. Yeah. They say it works better on a computer, but you can do it on a cell phone. I always used to do it on my iPad. Here we are. There we go. I'll put that across the bottom for a little while. If anybody wants to come in and chat, show us what you're doing. Yeah, most people who join in generally do it on a cell phone. Some people use computers, laptops, or whatever. I'm actually on a Mac computer with a big screen. Everything's winding down for the night. I wonder if it's not so blurry if I move aside. I don't know, it doesn't really look like it's any better focused when I'm over there. Anyway. Yeah, that was interesting about the frozen food because I've often looked at frozen foods and seen the Hikari variety that they have. But Kathy's right. No one really seems to carry it. It's like they pick 3 or 4 that are what they think are the most popular. And when you go and look in, oh, there's Murphy again. When you go and look in the store, what you see is bloodworms. There's a whole shelf of bloodworms. There, we'll try it again, Murphy. Let me see if I can unmute your mic. Nope, it's muted on your end. And I don't know. I guess with freshwater, especially going to stores that have fresh and salt, which most of them do, if they have like cichlids and stuff like that, I guess they eat bloodworms. I don't know. I used to feed them to my Oscars, but they're so messy that I tried one package and then I just stopped. They were much better. You can get these. They're like wafers, like big chunky round sinking wafers. And man, oh man, my Oscars absolutely love those things. I had to hand feed one of them because it was blind. Like it only had one eye, and so we always had to go to one certain corner and throw the pellets down, and it would like gobble them up. And then it would start swimming around looking for more. But of course, the circle it was swimming in was with its bad eye. It was just, yeah, it was kind of entertaining and kind of frustrating at the same time. So I don't know what else to tell you. I'm in the I'm one of the coral that I'm looking for, actually, that I'm hoping that Little Shop of Corals can get for me is a goldenrod and aquapora. I saw a few examples here and there, and it is such a brilliant yellow color. And I'm really hoping that it's the kind of color that works in most people's tanks. Oh, we saw him. No, he's gone again. You know how sometimes in under certain lighting, it just looks way different than under other lighting. And I'm really hoping that it's one of those corals that looks good in all types of lighting, maybe slightly different from one to the next, but you know, doesn't turn out to be like a light beige color. Oh, we see something now, Pat. Your mic is still muted.
Yeah, I can't get the headset to work, but
There we go.
I don't know.
Wow. It's been a long time since we've seen your tanks, man.
Yeah, been a while. Got all kinds of them now. So there's that Raja.
AWVU Reefer says, my room's an absolute mess because of tank cleaning and a 2-year-old, but the liquid courage has me ready to jump. Hey, try it. I mean, you know, we don't insult you or anything.
Right.
And so, Pat, where are you in the photo period here? Are you ramping down?
Yeah, I'm like
Time of night? Yep.
my lights go off at 10:30.
Ah. Yeah. What's that colorful one? Like there's bright pinky orange and down to the right. Is that a chalice of some kind? It's right there. Yeah. Or what polyps are those? Yeah.
That there?
No, like diagonally. That one. What is that?
That's utter chaos.
Oh, to the just to the right of the utter chaos. It looks like a lot of green and orange.
Oh, those are I think they're Oompa Loompas, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh yeah, that's a better. It looked like a chalice that had all kinds of wild colors on it.
There's the Wilsoni. It was pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
So have you still got a lot of the zoas that you had at one time?
I cut back a lot. I'm trying to, other than the utter chaos, I'm trying to focus more on a little bit higher end zoas.
Right.
Like all this. I don't know if you can see there's like green cluster here and right here.
Yeah.
But they're going from like $50 to $100 a polyp. So
What are they?
they are golden baskets, rainbow eclipse.
Nice.
Hard to see. I can turn my pumps off, but this is an acrylic tank in it. It's the first one I've had. I need to get something to clean the sides real good, but
Right.
yeah, kind of like my Zola and mushroom tank right now.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I had some orange rainbow pallies, and I kept losing track of where they were, and I think ultimately they fell down in the bottom of the 100-gallon section that I had them in and went under a rock because I no longer have them. So that's another one I would look for because those things were gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Sammy31D says use a magic eraser to clean the acrylic. They work wonders because you can get them without any cleansing agent or anything. You can just get the original ones that have nothing in them.
Yeah, I need to get some of those.
Hey, Sammy31D, thanks for that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been whatever. Everything's doing real good in my frag tanks, but like in the main display, like had a lot of my SPS die off up top.
Yeah.
But like the mid-level stuff's doing pretty good still.
Yep. What happened?
Um,
Do you have any
I,
idea how?
I don't know. I got a lot of aptasia in there right now. I don't know if it killed it or, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I don't know. I got some huge Montes in the back. You can't really see them, but
Huh.
some high end Montes back there. But
Yeah.
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 Anyway,
That's the thing in reef keeping, eh? I don't know. I
and,
don't know why that happened. It just
yeah. So you were
happens
trying
over
to figure it out because they all share the same water.
Huh.
The only difference would be the fish, obviously, and um, like I said, I got a bunch of aptasia in here, but none in the other tanks. So
Huh.
even got aptasia eating filefish, but they're not like they're
Yeah.
bums. So,
Yeah.
so this guy, they sold me him. He's got like this, what do they call that? Where your spine's crooked.
Oh, scoliosis?
He's got like scoliosis.
Is
His
that
whole body.
that's a forest fire digi, is it?
Yeah, bubble gum.
Bubblegum. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you should see my forest fire. It just looks it's really, really weird and sideways.
Yeah, they grow funny sometimes, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been debating whether to shut it down or not. I don't know.
Just the display or
Nah, just period.
wow.
Just getting rid of everything. I don't know.
You've been doing this a long time. I mean, I've known about you as long as I've been um well, since at least 2014 or 15. I remember back when your daughter was helping you do the mirror stuff on a
Yeah,
tank on YouTube. Like that's a long time ago.
yeah. She was probably
I think she's
four,
yeah,
four or
she was
five.
like really young. Yeah.
She's 12 now, so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, even before that, you know kept reef tank. Tried to keep reef tanks since as far back as like '97. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of experimental stuff back in those days, I guess, for me, because there wasn't really good information, you know.
No. Or technology.
And like, so if you wanted to learn something, you had to trust the person you were talking to at the pet shop or read a book that was one person's opinion. So,
Yep.
and yeah, like we didn't really have good test kits back then. So,
No. Well, I mean, I started in 2010, and around 2015 was when I discovered all the information that was on YouTube. And even in 2015, there wasn't all that much, but that's where I really started learning what was out there as far as tools and products and all that kind of thing. Because I mean, you had to rely on your, like you said, your fish store, and if they decided not to carry a certain thing, you wouldn't know it existed because
right,
there's not multiple saltwater aquarium stores in every town. Like
yeah.
it's yeah.
Believe it or not, at one point in time, like there's only 40,000 people in my little city, but at one point in time, we had three different pet shops that sold saltwater stuff. So
Yeah.
it was pretty good back then. I mean, back in those days, but I'm sure they killed a lot of stuff, and everybody that bought stuff off them probably killed everything they bought. So,
Yeah.
but I can kind of show you. Try to take this off. You can see like there's the air that's coming into the house now.
Oh my goodness.
It
Holy
it
cow.
it, it comes in from all those pumps, but I got it on soft tubing here.
Yeah.
And then these are I actually CO2 scrubbers, but I don't use them.
Uh-huh.
And then it just seals up and goes behind here. And I got the nylon drop, silicone drop. Uh, yeah, those things.
Yeah.
And then so I can, put air wherever I want
Yeah.
them.
That looks good.
It's pretty nice. So I kind of put it like this top on here. I haven't cleaned it up. It's just raw footage right now, but you can see how well it's pumping air in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was going to say to Kathy when we were talking about air bubblers, where I have mine, I'm lucky because it's underneath the tank above. So I'm sure there's all kinds of salt creep stalactites on the upper, on the roof of that thing. But
Yeah.
it pretty much confines the bubbles. But they are an issue if you have it in an open space. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I tried to try to make it look like a custom sump, right? So I put this cover on, and I got this auto top off container. It's like a 30-gallon auto top off container.
Oh my God, that's big.
So that'll last me like 2 weeks almost. But
Yep.
so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of money.
Yeah, I think sometimes you go through mental fatigue too, and maybe it was just because I was sick so much through the winter, but it was really hard to get the energy and the motivation to do the stuff I had to do, and
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons it took so long. And I'm, maybe it's just mental fatigue after such a stressful time I had reaching that point. I just needed a break,
Yeah. It could be. I don't know. Like Harper's that age right now where, she keeps you busy, and
Yep,
I got other hobbies going on too. So
yep, yep. Phil says, good to see your tanks, Pat. Don't get out. You'll be back. LOL. I've actually had so many friends get out recently. All my local buddies pretty much got out. And Chimp the Reefer said the tanks look great.
thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's kind of cyclical. And I mean, probably the only other time I ever felt like I was going to walk away was when I had that big circle of death tank crash where the stagnant water got into the sump and killed a whole bunch of stuff. And that was devastating. I almost gave up right then. But, then I started just focusing and working on it, whatever, and got through it. But it would have been entirely possible to just quit.
Yeah. I don't know. I struggle with that all the time.
Yep.
I know, like Phil and them said, you try to leave, but it's hard to. And if you do,
Yep.
most of the time you come back. But
Yep. Yeah, it's in your blood. Well, I mean, what you need to do is build a house, make a whole room for it, cut holes in the floor, have them put extra beams in and a wall, move the electrical panel. Like, it's a commitment. And I would feel really like there's no way I could leave now because there's just so much time, not just money, because there's always going to be money, but just the time and the effort and the energy that's gone into it. And I want to have some time to enjoy the results of that, right? So that's kind of what's keeping me in right now because I'm coming back from being sick so much and not having the energy, and it just feels so much different now. So hopefully.
Yeah, I struggled through that myself for a while.
Yeah. Yep. Orange
Hey,
Beach. Josh has got a question. Do you know of any pH tests or probes that are decently accurate and doesn't cost $100 plus? Pretty sure having growth issues because of low pH, no way of confirming it. I can't afford $100 plus. I don't know. What do you think, Pat? In the past, I used to use the pH test kits, the Salifert, and the range is pretty broad, but it still gives you a sense of where it is. Is there like maybe another manufacturer of that kind of kit that's a little more accurate, or?
I don't know. I can't remember if Hannah makes one or not. Like, I haven't even looked up equipment in so long that it's like I don't remember what anybody's even making or anything anymore. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like for like $120, I think it was, I got the Milwaukee pH probe.
Yeah.
And the replacement probes are only $40 after that, and then the unit shouldn't go bad for a long, long time. So
Yeah.
that's my go-to. That's what I use with my calcium reactor. I got ones just for the tank also. So
Yeah.
so I don't know. You could go on Milwaukee's website if you want to. I think it's a little bit cheaper if you buy it off them.
Yeah, I've tried using the digital handheld ones, and I've never ever felt they were accurate. And the fact that they need calibration so often, I did use well, I still use the American Pinpoint Marine pH. And if you buy the electrical adapter, you don't have to worry about the battery. And it is relatively easy to calibrate. I can't remember, like Phil in the chat here just said it's right around $100. But that's the one that I consider accurate. I've used 3 or 4 different handheld ones and just never found any that I was confident about.
Yeah. It's like even the Milwaukee ones. I'll go to recalibrate them like once every 4 to 6 months or so,
Yeah.
and usually they're not even off when I have to recalibrate them. So
Yeah.
they're pretty good.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, you get a reading, you don't trust it, so you calibrate, and then you get the same reading and you still don't trust it, even though you just calibrated.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah.
Hannah has one for $35. I don't know. I guess to save up. Yeah, that's the thing about this hobby, Josh. Like the money I have to spend. And I speak as a person who always looks for the cheapest alternative first, because I feel the same way. I don't want to spend a whole ton of money on something if I don't have to. And what you learn is where you do have to spend the money to get something that you're going to be confident about. And I've spent a lot of stupid money. Like, for example, I got the American Pinpoint salinity monitor, and I did a video about it. And it was essentially a waste of like I threw away $160 because you can't calibrate the thing. You can't, because you have to hold it a certain way and turn the little screwdriver. But to turn the little screwdriver, you need like octopus hands. I couldn't do it. And I should go back and watch that video because I'm trying to remember specifically what the problem was. All I remember was it was a big waste of $160. And I couldn't even return it. I bet you I still have it in a drawer somewhere because I won't even give it away because it was such a pain in the ass. And I can't imagine anyone else. I don't know. Maybe I'm just clueless and I just couldn't figure it out. I don't know, but it was pretty awful.
I mean, obviously, like if you're newer in the hobby, like all the prices are very, very, very overwhelming when you start actually looking at real reef equipment.
Yeah.
But in the long run, you got to ask yourself, is it going to make it easier on me? Mm-hmm. Because it'll make it easier on you, especially if you have one where you can, see what your pH is 24/7.
Yeah.
And even though you don't need to, obviously, all the time, but it's like you said, the peace of mind. And
yeah. Well, I remember when I got the Aquachar to try, and I set up my Wisecam to do a time lapse overnight of the pH monitor. Mm-hmm. And so I did this before I started, and then I did it as I started to see the pH climb. And the reason I wanted a time lapse was overnight was to see how low it got, like what the range was, low to high in a 24-hour period. And I wouldn't have been able to do that with any other type of monitor because that thing has a screen. It's really easy to read. You set up the camera, like you can walk in and just look right at it. I kind of wish it was backlit because I usually get a flashlight to look at it. But for the money it cost, I trust it. I still trust it to this day. And I've owned it for at least 5 years. And that's the American Pinpoint Marine. That's like $100. Yeah. So, oh, hey, MB Reef.
I think I had that one when I first started. getting back into the coral stuff real heavy. I had a pinpoint, but the one I had wasn't real accurate. Like it would jump around really, really bad.
Yeah.
It could have been the placement where I had it in the sump. You know, it could have been whatever. But
Yeah. Born to be a
anything,
shooter.
anything to reference, though, like you said.
Yeah. He says he's been doing it for 15 years. He's just poor, permanently disabled. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder whether I don't know, like maybe if you have local, like a local reef club or somebody you can maybe borrow something from to get a sense of what's going on. Or sometimes you can find them that people are maybe shutting down a tank and you can find a used one. You might be able to do that because, like I said, I've been running mine for 5 years and I'm still very confident in it. And if you do find a used one with the American pinpoint, the calibration screws are on the front. So as soon as you look at it, you'll know whether it's going to work or not, because if those screws are all mashed up and broken, it's not going to hold its calibration. So it's something that's relatively easy to just look to eyeball it and you'll be able to tell whether it's going to work. So I don't know, maybe check with Sandy's Reef Savvy, depending where you are in the country. You know, she might have one kicking around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know if you saw the beginning of the stream, I put up a little bit about Sandy's getting out of the hobby, and she's got an entire fish room. Oh, MB Reef is here. Oh my goodness, MB. Hey, Milton, how are you?
Good, good, good. What about you?
Oh, pretty good. I survived. I survived all of this.
Oh yeah, I see, I see. It's beautiful.
Thanks. It's getting there. It's getting there.
So
I need-
basically, I upgraded to 125.
Yep.
So I moved. Basically, I have to move my tanks because my daughter stayed where I was staying at before. So I have to move all my fish down from there. But you know, I set up this one right here like 1 week ago.
Oh boy.
So yeah, let me try. Let me change the camera to show you guys what's going on.
There we go.
Wait. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I take the challenge to do all this in 1 week.
Oh my. Well, it looks good though.
Yes, it's looking good.
And this is a 125, you said?
Yes, 125.
So it's a 6-foot tank.
Yes.
Nice.
So I'm running the radions in the top, and then the sump is kind of small for the tank. You know, it's the trigger system. I
Yeah.
do all the plumbing and stuff like that. I'm running 2 part plus cat water.
Okay.
So it's a different system.
Yeah.
Trying something new.
Yeah.
So the power head, the power head is a voltage in this corner. I'm doing the G valve in the back.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of flow.
Nice.
Let's see what happens.
Yep, that's all you can do, right?
Yeah.
Looks good. Not lots of color. So it looks like you kept some of your SPS. I seem to remember you had a lot more SPS
Basically,
before.
yeah, but I don't use anything from my old tanks.
Okay, so it's new.
Everything here is new.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a change. Like I struggled with that. That's why I kept what I had and just moved it. Was because I couldn't stand the idea of giving up something I'd spent 5 and 6 years trying to grow out, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Ooh, that's pretty. What is that? Monty of some type?
Yes, the Monty.
And so did you get these where did you get all of these big encrusted pieces on the rocks then?
Basically, it was one of my friends. He gave me some. He gave me some stuff. So yeah, it was already in the in the system. So
Yep.
I take it out from there and then I put everything here.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's Ugly Man's Reefing. Hey, Ugly Man's Reefing. I hope you're doing well. Josh says, I live in North Carolina, but I'd be open to shipping if someone has one. LOL. Has a local friend, but her house is about 25 minutes away, and I'd have to run water to her house. That wouldn't be accurate. Obviously, yeah. Yeah, Sandy is in Alabama. So I don't know. If you're on Instagram, Josh, check it out. Sandy's Reef Savvy. She might have some stuff you might be interested in. Wow, this is looking good. Oh, those zoanthids up there too. Wow. And so is all of this from like one person's tank, or is it from different tanks?
It was all for that person had like three
That
tanks.
person. Right. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Looks good.
So I make I make everything on one.
Very nice. That pectinia is looking good in the front there.
Yes.
You must have it downstream from the plate coral. Because boy, oh boy, it would sting. It would sting it.
Yeah. 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 I have to take it out. I have to move it just a little bit.
Yeah. Looks good.
Yeah.
So you do have fish in here. Are you going to be getting any more fish, or what's your long-term plan
Yeah.
for this?
I planning to take the other fish that I have in the other system and put it here.
Uh-huh.
I have two more yellow tanks. I have the hippo tank. I have the scopa tank. I have an it's a phosphate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm planning to put it here later.
That's going to be fun. All those
Yeah.
tangs.
they're gonna be fighting a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Nice. So you said you're just using kalkwasser
yes,
to
Kawasa
maintain this? Yeah.
and 2 parts.
Oh, and two-part.
Yeah,
No calcium reactor.
no calcium. No.
Hey, Tar Heel Reefer. Tar Heel Reefer wants to know what part of North Carolina Josh is in. Yeah. Yeah. And so your sump, you said it's small? Is it like how many gallons is the sump? Or are you going to upgrade it at some point, or are you going to run it this way?
I'm gonna run it this way for it's a trigger system.
Yeah.
So to see how that work,
Yeah.
it depends. Everything is depends if they work good like that. Maybe I can do in the side I can put like a refugium something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right now, I'm just running like that. It's working fine for now.
Yep.
So probably in the future, I do something bigger. You know.
Yeah, you got to live with it for a while and see
Yeah.
how it works and see what works and what doesn't.
Mhm.
Oh, cool. Is that a reactor you got right there?
This one right here is basically I'm running carbon for now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, to make the water clear.
Yeah.
But maybe I change it. I can run the another reactor that I have. And then running the media, the how you call that the one for the phosphate,
Oh, GFO?
a GFO. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I don't know if I gonna put the CO2 scrubber I don't know yet about that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, hey, Josh. If you want to send me an email at reefgirl@gmail.com, I'll see if I can get an email from Sandy. Because I don't have one for her at this point. We're still talking. She's going to try and get me a list of all her equipment and stuff, and I'll probably talk about that again next week on next week's stream, which will be like Sunday afternoon. So just shoot me an email, and then I'll have your email address, and I'll pass it along to Sandy, and then she can get in touch with you. Okay. Yeah, Milton, I don't know if you saw the beginning of the stream. Sandy's Reef Savvy is shutting down her fish room and has a lot of stuff that's going to be available.
For real? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. She's in Alabama. She has a couple things that I'm interested in, so we'll have to see. Yeah, it's a shame.
Wow.
It's a Reef Savvy 300-gallon Reef Savvy tank that she has. Wow. Oh, this is good. And you have sand.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen so many tanks, and I'm always looking at the bare bottom tanks, and I'm always thinking, I don't know, I just like how sand looks. I understand the reason behind bare bottom. I really do understand it, but the sand just, to me, it just adds something.
Yeah. I like the sand because, how they look, for the lookings, to make it more like it look like an ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking about the upgrading in the last screen I was with you guys.
Yep.
I was not deciding which one, 125, 200,
Mm-hmm.
180.
And we all said, go 200,
Yeah.
go 300. You're going to want bigger. As soon as you get the setup, you'll go, why didn't I go 200?
We're going to pay for it.
I know, right? Oh, I did everything I could with this tank to get it as big as possible.
Yeah.
And I still got messed around for the 6-inch, it was supposed to be 60 wide by 66 front to back. And it ended up being 60 by 60. And, there were times when I thought, oh man, I wish I would have just gone like 7 feet. Because there's space in this room.
Mm-hmm.
But then there would have been no space between the tank and the doorway. Just, yeah.
Yeah, that was my problem because I was like, the space I have for the tank is very limited.
Yeah.
So this is the only place that I can put it in the house because it's a lot of baseboard heaters.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to overheat the tank.
Yeah.
But the thing is about this space, I have a window in the back.
Okay.
So in the winter time, the pH is gonna be good, but I have to be careful with that too.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't have air circulation as part of your heating system, that does something too with CO2. Like you really have to figure out how to move the air through the house too, right?
Yes. So when I looked at 200, it was taking a lot of space.
Yeah.
So I say, you know what? I go with the 125. I think that's what I need.
Well, and the thing is, you still get your 6 feet, so your tangs have room to swim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, my tank is right around 7 feet from corner to corner. So technically, I can say, oh, my tangs have at least 6 feet to swim, as long as they go from corner to corner.
Yes.
They go around in circles a lot.
Yeah, but everything look happy. That's an important thing.
Yep.
Let's see what happens in a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's keep it like that for years.
Oh, yeah.
Then, because I don't think I'm gonna go something bigger for a couple years.
Yeah, couple years.
Yeah.
You're still young yet, man.
Yeah.
You got lots of time to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it looks good. It's always nice to see where, what people do and how they do it.
Yes.
Because you've got this brand new tank, and it doesn't look like a brand new tank because it's all filled in already. And I sometimes wonder, even with some of the bigger pieces of rock I'm not going to be able to use in my tank, should I try to put them on a forum, or offer them to somebody else, because they might want an instant aquascape.
Mhm.
I have a big piece of rock that was in Mollywood, the observation tank, that's covered with green hairy mushrooms and pinwheel zoanthids and sunset montipora, and there's a tiny patch of zinnia, and like it's like an arch, and there's a shelf and an overhang, and it would be an instant aquascape for anybody with a 24 by 24 inch tank. Like, should I try? And I don't care. I would give it away if somebody wanted it. And it doesn't even have a lot of pests. Like, it's not loaded with fermented snails or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so when I see your tank, it's like, this is awesome, because you got something from somebody else and you made it your own, and you don't have to spend 2 years of it all filling in to get like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the tricky part, I use his media. So
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
why I have all the bacteria and everything on it. So
Yeah.
that's why I don't worry too much about the bacteria, something happened with the tank.
Yeah. Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yes, yes. It's not really brand new, because I use even the sand from the other tank. So
Yeah.
and the rocks.
Yep. Yep.
So let's see.
Nice. Whoa, thanks for showing us. Nice to see that.
Thank you, thank you for let me show my tank.
I'm always happy when people want to show their tank, because this is the only way right now we get to see stuff like this. I mean, you can watch people's videos on YouTube and everything, but having it interactive where you can actually talk to people and ask questions and stuff, that's what I really enjoy about it. Yeah, good. Good, good.
All right, Cindy. So yeah, I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
Kind of late already, so the light's gonna be turned off in just a couple minutes. So
Yep. Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate
all
it.
right, you're welcome.
Cool. Good night.
Good night.
Well, that was good to see. It's been a long time since we saw MB Reef, and I know he had tank problems for a while, and then was restarting. So that's good. It's good to see it. Random question, but what are the success rates keeping cocoa worms alive long term? Like, how long can they live for? I don't honestly know. I had one that lived for quite a while. It actually left its tube and relocated elsewhere and started growing again. But I don't honestly know. And I always wondered whether, when we have them in our tanks, because of the environment they come from, like, are they just slowly starving to death? I really don't know. Pat, have you ever kept any?
No, no, I never had any. I have
They're
no idea.
they're cool, and I know some fish will nip at them. Like I'm trying to think, butterfly fish definitely will nip at them, but I don't know how much damage they do because the worms close up pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, especially like how your tanks go through stages. Like you'll have sponges and then you won't, or
Yeah,
you'll have like these little red feather dusters everywhere, and then you won't. And I don't know. I don't know how long they last.
yeah, yeah. I think it's one of those things that you have to enjoy it while you have it. And the thing is, so here's the thing. If you want to keep cocoa worms, do you want your water to be cloudy all the time? Because that might be the environment they need to get the food that they need. Because I don't think most of them are photosynthetic. I think most of them are straight out filter feeders. And so they need the stuff in the water column. So they don't absorb dissolved nutrients like corals or like other types of inverted, like gorgonians and stuff like that. They actually catch particulates out of the water. So if you're willing to have a lot of particulates in your water, then you might be more successful with things like cocoa worms. I wish Bisma Worm Guy was here because he has a whole tank of Christmas tree worm rocks. And I know that he does a lot of like heavy sort of planktonic feeding in there because he's got non-photosynthetic corals and stuff like that. If he still has that tank running, I haven't seen him around for quite a while. So his thing is like he decided to make a tank that way. So if you want to make your tank that way, you're going to really have to have good filtration so that you don't foul the water to where you're going to have high nutrients that are going to bother your coral. Like it's like a whole sort of classic example of if you have a species tank, you may have better success than if you try and put them in a mixed reef with everything else that has different requirements, you know? It's hard. It's hard.
I tried some carnation corals once. I didn't have very good luck with them.
I remember that. I remember seeing those and thinking how nice they would be.
Yeah, it would have been cool if they would have lived. I was at that point. I was like getting ready to go in a different direction, but
yeah,
that didn't work out very well. So.
Yeah. Hey, Casey Wagner, you asked earlier about candy canes, and I was going to read your question out. I don't know whether Mark saw your message or not. I'll shoot him a quick email later, and I'll ask him about that. Casey's in Prince Edward Island, and Mark is in Nova Scotia, and Casey has a huge surplus of candy cane corals. So he was wondering if Mark wanted any. So we got to try and facilitate a coral swap of some kind. Yeah. Yeah, Canada's a big place, and everybody's so spread out, you know?
Yeah.
So how are your fish doing these days, Pat?
Oh, they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too big. They're too big for my tank, but what I do, I don't know if I need to get a fishing pole out or what. But.
Well, and have you thought about that? Just going fish only for a while?
No. I like to fish, but it's like, I don't know. Fox faces are probably my favorite fish right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, if I just had one of those in every tank, I'd be happy.
Yeah. Do you still have the bicolor?
Yeah, I got one. I got a baby in the Zoa tank. I got a one spot in the 40 brigger, and I got the bicolor in the big tank. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to moving up my Magnificent because that thing is big.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I think he's going to be the tank boss even beyond the sailfin because the sailfin tank has got huge. Yeah.
I mean, they by far are my best working fish that I have. Although I did find out my Desjardins does eat bubble algae. So.
Okay. Well, that's good. That is good.
So I had some bubble algae in my 40 brigger, and I didn't have in my 120, so I got a fox face for there. It was gone within like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'll have a stray bubble pop up here and there, but you know.
Yep, that was my fox face. That's why I got him, and he just mowed it down. Yep. Diacanthus. I'm wondering what it would take to propagate Spirobranchus giganteus, Christmas tree worms, effectively. Something I will have to read up on now. Yeah, my understanding with those two is that the rocks they live on are encrusted with Porites coral. And I'm not sure, I don't think there's an actual symbiotic relationship between the two other than uh, the sort of filter feeding of the Christmas tree worms. That's the same kind of stuff that the Porites benefits from. So maybe that's why it shows up. I haven't done a whole lot of reading on them. And I don't know whether if the Porites don't survive, because they're not an easy coral to grow, I don't think. I think they need very, very specific conditions. That's why the staghorn crab, I would love to get a staghorn crab, but they have Porites on them, I think, or something very similar. And unless you have just the right conditions in your tank, that Porites doesn't live either. So I've tried to grow them a few times, and they're drab, so they're not like hugely colorful and everything. So it's not something a lot of people look for. But these symbiotic relationships, I honestly don't know enough to know whether one requires the other. You know, have you ever tried anything like that, Pat?
No. None of them kind of worms. No tube worms, none of that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Phil says his copper band eats bubble algae.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think it
That's
was it on Instagram. I think I've seen
yeah,
his post on Instagram. Yeah,
yeah. Oh, that's cool.
I look forward to seeing his posts on IG all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, the tanks are beautiful.
Mhm.
Sammy says, I used to keep feather dusters way back, and they did fine getting leftovers from the fish mess. Maybe some plankton would be ideal. Yeah, maybe you know, and you know, you can get pods now. The pack pods, they're almost microscopic. They're so small. Ocean Nutrition makes them. And you can't just pour them in the tank. You have to mix them with tank water because they're almost like whatever they're in is almost gelatinous. It's like really thick and syrupy. And I always put a little bit of that stuff, a squirt of it, in when I mix up the frozen fish food, just so the corals get something too while the fish are eating. So you know, maybe that would work. But I couldn't. I didn't keep mine alive for very long. It might have lasted, I don't know, 6, 8 months. And like I said, it escaped from its tube, or it ditched its tube and came up somewhere else and lived for quite a while, making a new tube. But ultimately, it just didn't live very long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a hard hobby. Yeah, Phil says, thanks, Pat. I like seeing yours as well. You just don't post that often.
Mine's
Oh,
been cook. Mine's been more cooking stuff lately than anything else. I like to eat. You can see that though.
yep. Yeah, it's an interesting hobby. It just,
I'm trying to get it back on track. I mean, I'm trying to do something with the Aptasia. Like, all right, so I got that Maggiano wand, and it didn't. It worked, but it didn't. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they spread after I started using it, like everybody said
yeah,
it would.
yep.
Then I was trying injecting them with vinegar or hot water, like that was the technique back in the day. It was like boiling hot water or like some kind of citric acid or
Yeah.
whatever. But
Lemon juice. Lemon juice.
yeah, I used lemon juice. I used vinegar. I used hot water. Um, I didn't use cat paste, uh, but the five fish don't eat my Aptasia. I got two of them in there. I bought them at two different times. I bought a copper band, and it lived for like a day or two, and then it
Yeah.
was done. So the thing is, where I live, it's so hard to even find a pet shop that has
Hmm.
what you want all the time. And I was like, I talked to the guys from New York or New Jersey, and
Oh, yeah.
they basically they can find it within an hour drive. So wherever they
Yeah.
want to go, but
It's
yeah, I'm
hard.
pretty remote out here.
Have you
Like
have
I,
you tried the peppermint shrimp, or is that something you can't get? Because they come out of Florida, don't they?
Something eats them in my tank.
Oh, okay.
So I, what's that place called?
Algae barn?
Something savvy. I can't remember what the place is called, but they're on Instagram. But I ordered like a 12 pack of peppermint shrimp, and they were kind of small, and I put them in there, and I had those red cardinal fish in there.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't know it, but their mouths are huge,
Oh no.
and it ate two of them. I mean, they weren't tiny. They weren't tiny shrimp, but it ate two of them, and it stuffed the third one in its mouth. I thought it was going to die because it couldn't get it back out of its mouth, but he ended up
Oh
choking
no.
it down somehow. But so then I tried growing a bunch in the 40 breeder and put them in there after that, and ended up getting ate somehow too. So, or they died.
Weird.
One or two.
And I've always had good luck with peppermints. Always.
Yeah.
I probably
I
just haven't had the right combination of bad yet.
So when I started that Zoa tank, I didn't have any fish in there, but I had snails, and I put some peppermint shrimp in there and brought the Aptasia to them
Hmm.
to see if they'd eat. It's interesting enough, they didn't really go for the Aptasia right off the bat, but
Yeah. Yep.
I injected one of the Aptasia with a little bit of hot water or something, and it started like spitting its guts up, and then it attracted all that peppermint shrimp.
Oh. Oh yeah.
It was kind of cool, but after that they had a taste for it, so
Hmm.
I put them in the big tank and they died too.
Phil says, use sodium hydroxide lye. DM me and I'll give you the directions. Well, Pat, I followed Phil's directions on how to get mushrooms to give it up, and it worked like a charm. It was calcium hydroxide, essentially calc paste. You inject it into the mouth, and within 24 hours, the foot is almost letting go. They start turning clear, and then you can just peel them right off, and it doesn't leave anything behind to start growing again.
That's good.
Yeah.
I
So
want to try that.
oh, hey, Abraham Estrada, welcome. Does anyone have a theory on how to get their BTAs to bubble up? I don't know.
I think that's an industry wide phenomenon that may
Yeah,
not ever get answered.
yeah, yeah. Oh no. Phil says his wrasses rip peppermints in half in about half a second. An expensive snack. Chimp the Reefer says it took me 3 tries with Bergias. Last time I removed filter socks and pads, and they infested the whole system. I had no fish that ate the Bergia though. No A words for A words for 8 months. Wow.
Pretty good. Yeah, I've tried them 3 different times.
I think I remember at least one of those times. Yeah.
Yeah, this last time I also put them in the Zoa tank, away from no fish. They didn't even eat the Aptasia that was in there. It was weird. It was really weird. I don't
Crazy
know.
man.
I got bad luck with some stuff. Like a lot of people can grow bubble tip anemones. I can't do that either. I don't know what. Like every time I get one, it'll shrivel up to nothing, and uh,
I don't know if I can, and I'm scared of them, so I guess I'll never find out.
yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, I guess.
Yep. Yep. Oh, there's Sammy D. Sammy, let's bring Sammy in. I wonder if he's in the store. Hey, Sammy, are you in the store? Oh, he's muted. I just saw my cat on camera. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Oh, it's not even 11 o'clock yet. I don't usually feed him till midnight.
Where's my dogs
Yeah.
on? That bother me.
Hey, Sammy, are you in the store?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh, you can hear me. Okay. I got my headset on because when I jumped in on you guys, it was all kinds of feedback.
Yeah, you're a bit robotic right now.
Oh, am I? Let's see.
WVU Reefer says, "Dear God, I have rainbow BTAs coming out the wazoo."
I don't know. I should be able to hear you through my headset. I'm not.
Maybe it's your microphone.
I couldn't
Oh.
get my Bluetooth speaker to work, so
Yeah. I'm using my streaming device, so I've got my hearing aids in, and this thing is plugged in a jack in the back of the computer. So the nice thing is my husband doesn't have to listen to this whole thing. All he has to do is listen to me talk because he's, sitting in the living room over there. But nothing comes out the speakers. It just comes through the device into my hearing aids. So that's cool. Glad I got that thing working again because it wasn't working for a while. Yeah. How's Cooper doing? You're muted.
he's
Oh, there you
getting,
go.
he's getting big.
Yeah.
And big
Yeah.
baby. He'll take the Yorkie and like if they get in a fight, he'll grab him by the neck every single time. And the Yorkie's only like 10 pounds, so it's like he's like shaking a rag doll basically.
Hmm.
And the dog's old. Yorkie's like 10 years old. Cooper, he's ruthless.
Like,
He's a
are
good
they
dog.
are they bred for like chasing rodents and stuff like that? Like, what are corgis for? I know French bulldogs are for nothing. They're just for people.
I think they're sheep or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I think I can't remember. I looked it up when I first got him, but I think they're a cattling dog.
Yeah. I miss having a dog or dogs, but then I don't miss having a dog or dogs. We spent 15 years with two big dogs in the house, and I really liked them. Like I loved the dogs. I loved having them, but there are a lot of things I appreciate about not having them at the same time.
Yeah.
Diacantha says herding cows, I believe, short enough not to get kicked. Oh,
Makes
Casey Wagner says I'm overfeeding the crap out of mine this week, and the BTA is finally starting to bubble. Oh, maybe that's the answer.
Well, if they like high phosphates, maybe I can keep them now.
Yeah, yeah. Something took the head off my lettuce slug 2 days after I got it. Oh. I'm pretty sure my flame hawkfish bit the head off one of my 3 cleaner shrimp in the Red Sea tank very early on. And after that, nothing. The other 2 were fine. But one was decapitated the one day, and I'm pretty sure it was the flame that did it. Oh, we're looking at Sammy's tank. This is looking nice.
Yeah, I think my headset is not going to work for the StreamYard.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm getting. You guys can hear me, but I can't hear you. Unless I turn you up on my television or something.
Yeah. Well, you sound good right now. How do we sound?
Well, I'm listening to you through my phone, so
Okay.
if I'm not getting feedback through the audio of my phone to my headphones, then it might work.
It sounds good. It sounds the best it has so far, so that's good.
Okay, cool.
Looking nice there. What are the blue ones?
The blue ones are worldwide coral AOI. AOIs.
Nice. What does
They're,
AOI mean?
buddy of mine gave me like 3 or 4 of them polyps, and they've been taking off pretty well. They're about 3 months in the tank.
Yeah. What does AOI stand for? Like, I know it's all in one, but or AOI.
I have no idea. It's something with alien stuff because that's all I know is he said there was something alien eyes or worldwide coral alien eyes, and on the website they're AOIs.
Nice.
So, yeah, they're pretty cool. They're blue with a really nice bright highlighter yellow center.
Nice.
They look like crack in the blue lights.
Yeah.
But I have it on photo mode right now with the Neptunes so that I can actually film.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Rolly's Reef Ranch.
But yeah, this tank has actually been coasting for quite a while. You saw it a couple of weeks ago
Yeah.
when I popped in. I've been pretty lazy with this tank. Not really many water changes. It's just been kind of coasting. Little Oregon tort on the wall back there. This one is rainbow granulosa.
Hmm.
It looks really cool under the blue lights. Got really bright yellow tips. It looks like a firework going off
nice.
in the tank at night.
Nice.
Little patch of green algae growing. Love that stuff.
Yeah. Diacanthus says, I like AOIs. I hope white light lovers start a blue coral craze so they're easier to get hold of again. Yeah, that's so
I
true.
definitely try to buy corals that will look good in the blue and the daylight, because I still do use the daylight spectrum for like 3 or 4 hours during the day.
Mm-hmm. The
But
stylo looks
I am
good up
a
there.
blue heavy person. I love the blues. I know that's controversial, but
Well, I don't know. I really think that's one of the things where as long as the corals are getting the light they need, it's your personal preference.
yeah.
Yeah. That Milka stylo over there looks good.
Yeah,
Very
it's been
nice.
doing really well. I fragged it pretty good about a month ago, and it's just starting to bounce back.
Hmm.
I wish that these guys on the Tonga branch would start growing a little bit faster. The very top center is CB maleficent, cornbread maleficent. You can see green slimer, and then the middle bottom is ASD rainbow acropora, and the one on the right is just a regular rainbow acropora, which is actually, I wish I could zoom in because it's been in the tank for like 3 months now. And it's finally just starting to get little shoots coming off on it.
Yeah,
But,
it takes a while.
but yeah, this tank's it's kind of messy right now. I need to get in here and do some work on it tomorrow. I'd like to get the back of the tank cleaned off. You see there's a bunch of algae growing on the back, and the pumps are looking terrible. But
Honestly,
I think I'm gonna get this frag rack out because it's just turned into a mess of
wow.
A lot of times I'll bring home corals that aren't looking too good at the shop, and I'll try to rescue them at home. So that's kind of why these guys look beat up. They're just kind of being rescued, basically.
Yep.
So they're bouncing back just very slowly.
Yep. I'm loving to see the tank with the algae and everything and how the pumps look. Because honestly, every single one of us can completely relate to that.
Yeah. Normally I'm on top of it. I'm usually a bit of a clean freak with it. But these past couple months I've been just procrastinating on taking care of it.
And you've probably been busy too with, it's amazing once you start doing something after hours out of the house. It really, it's not just time, it's energy too, right?
Yep. Yeah, and I've been trying to start a little mini, like boutique sized coral shop where I live.
Yeah, you showed us that.
Most of my time's been dedicated to getting systems all set up over there and running over there.
Yep.
But definitely tomorrow I'm gonna have to get in here. I want to take care of this green hair algae in here. I'm starting to get a patch there, and I'm getting a patch up here in between the Tonga branch.
Yeah. Yeah,
which
and
is
unfortunately, the fish won't go after it until most of it's off the rock, and then they clean up.
right.
Um, like you got a hip. Did you have a hippo tang in here? Did I
Yeah,
see?
there's a hippo in there.
Yeah.
They're so skittish when I'm next to the tank. You know, it drives me crazy because I've had them, both the hippo and my yellow, for probably 10 years now,
Yeah.
and they both act like I beat them up or something. You know, like I don't spoil them every morning 3 times a day with food, and you know,
Yeah. Yep.
so yeah, that's
Well,
one thing that drives me crazy about my hippo tank is he gets scared and then the yellow tang gets scared.
yeah.
At work or at the shop, I have a yellow tang that's 29 years old, and
Oh
he's
my
just like
God.
friendly as a dog face puffer. You know, he follows
Wow.
you around the whole tank as you're cleaning it, and
Yep.
just loves to have action around the tank.
Yeah.
These guys act like little scaredy cats all the time.
That's what my fish are like. They, as soon as you walk in the room, like when you first look in the room, you don't see any fish. As soon as you walk in, they all zoom to the front. And I'm sure it's got to do with food. It's got to be. And I really hope that's something that doesn't change as I add more fish, because I like everybody really enjoys it because they get to see the fish, right? Oh, MB Reef says nice tank.
Thanks.
Rolly's Ranch. That's the key. Feed them a lot if you want them to like you. Yeah, WVU Reefer, he's talking about watching storms roll in. I just heard some thunder here because apparently we're supposed to be getting thunderstorms and rain overnight tonight. Yeah, this is looking really good. Like whatever the spectrum is you have right now, looks to me like a really nice balance because you've got enough blue that you can see the colors. Like everything isn't just washed out except what's actually blue, and
Yep.
you get a really good look at all the variety of color you have.
Well,
Looks good.
I have to give some credit to the Neptune skies. I know people
Yep.
are like still kind of on the fence of, well, should I spend the money on that? And it's been, I love them. They're worth the money in my opinion.
Hmm.
I'm working with Radions at the shop and black boxes and
Yep.
Kessels and AIs and the Prime and Hydras.
Yep.
But you know, and you can see there's not much shimmer in the tank. I almost wish the back of the glass was cleaner because you can see some shimmer along the back glass, even though it's all dirty. But it's mostly generated by flow.
Hmm.
But after a while, not having the shimmer, I got used to it, and the tank just looks like the fish are in air when I'm on the other side of the room and the fish are not being scaredy cats.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that constant static
Yeah.
disco ball, whatever, across the rock work.
Yep.
And I really think one of the biggest benefits to the sky is the diffuser that they're using. The just the way the light actually gets into the crooks and cracks of undersides of things, and
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty amazing that, like, you know, some of this stuff gets nice healthy flesh underneath.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know, I've ran black boxes on this exact tank before, and there were times where I'd have to worry about like for example, if I had this macro in my tank before, I'd be worried about the bottom doing some STN because it's getting shadowed out so much.
Hmm.
Not that it would die off, but that the main stalk of the frag or the colony would die off. Not the entire colony, but just the stalk.
Yeah.
Since I have these skies now, I feel like the entire colony stays fleshy.
Yeah. It looks good. Rolly's Reefs Ranch says BRS was selling them 20% off the other day, something like 600 each. Yeah, I noticed that a lot of places, even up here in Canada, the price has gone from 1100 and something down to 800 and something.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're getting ready to announce something, and they're blowing out old inventory because they're probably going to say, hey, we have the Sky Junior to promote now.
Yeah.
Just I'm just spitballing. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but who knows? They
Yep.
might have a half a sky panel that's perfect for your nano tanks,
Yep.
and it's only $200, $300. Because if they're going to sell the large full panel, they were selling it on sale for $652 US
Mm-hmm.
dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And I think typically they're like $8.99 US.
Yeah.
So something's happening. They're trying to blow out the inventory and trying to, I think, prepare for a promo. Maybe they're going to say, hey, we've integrated the Radions into the Fusion now. So now you guys can, mess around with that too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Things are always changing.
yep. Hey, I'm cool with the prices coming down because I don't like paying that kind of money for lights or, I mean, hell, I'm using Jabo pumps,
Yep.
No,
I'm with you. I have the Orfex, and when I bought the bars, they were cheaper than they were half the price of a couple of Reef Brights.
Right.
And the build quality is unreal. So I have the OR2s. They're the 120s, which are the 4-foot ones. So when I had a chance to get the Atlantics, the panel lights, because I like the OR2s so much, and I did get a price break from Orfec for the Atlantics, and they threw in a couple of other things. But I would have bought them anyway, even if I hadn't got a price break, because that had been my plan right from the beginning. And I'm
I like
still
the form
working.
factor of the Orfex too, being the
Yeah.
big panel.
Yep.
I just
I'm
I
still
wouldn't
working
run
on.
Radions without putting the diffuser on it. That's what I would.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. They're very. Are they a wider angle than a Kessel? Yes, but do they still have that very focused spotlight look to them? They do. They almost. I almost would rather have my Radions higher off the tank at the shop because, well, they're on their Ecotech rail above the water box, but it's only 6 or 8 inches above the water surface.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just need to probably put diffusers on them because they're very spotlighty and they do. I love the shimmer. I do like the shimmer, but it's spotlighty and I'm getting some shadowing.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out how to set my lights using the app. And ultimately, I would love to run part of the day in a daylight spectrum, like maybe 10 or 15K, something like that, for just a couple of hours. So I still have to figure out how to do that. And I just haven't sat down and spent time looking at what the different channels do and how they all work together. I have a couple of screenshots of other people's light schedules and what their programming looks like. And I just, maybe this winter I'll be able to sit down and on a stool in front of the tank and just play with it and see what I like, and use my phone camera and figure out, okay, what works for video, because I don't want to be switching the lights all the time. I want to find something that I can live with that's going to make the corals grow that also looks good for video. AI primes can do it. So I
Yeah,
should
I
be able to
mean,
do it with my bars and my panels, right?
yeah, and with the skies having the photo mode, all it is they just crank the whites up and the blues way down. So if you had like
That's right. Yeah.
a setting, a separate setting, so like your filming setting or whatever, then
Yeah.
they just switch to that spectrum.
Yeah. I had that for the AP700. I had a program just for filming, because I still have the AP700 that's over the 150 downstairs, but that's a light I also won't get rid of because it's been a really good light. Yeah, Rolly's Reef Ranch said he would have been tempted if he needed lights, but didn't care for the look when he saw them at Reef Stock Denver, where I live, but the spread is great. A bunch of the Ecotech products were recently on sale too. Jabo pumps are as good as anything else out there. I have MP40s, Jars, Tunzi, and wave pumps, even a Nero 3, and like the cheapo Jabos. I have nothing against Jabo. I know The only thing that annoys me is they change their model numbers so frequently, you don't know what you have anymore.
Yeah.
And the problem comes in when you're trying to get replacement parts, because that's the thing I like about them. You could get replacement parts, and if you broke the basket or the bracket wasn't holding anymore, you could replace it. I still have a WP10 that runs,
Yeah.
and
I
that's
still
from
got
like,
PP8s that run.
yep, and that's from like 2015.
Yep.
Back when wave engines cost $600 when I first started looking at them. So yeah, it's I have nothing bad to say about Jabo equipment. I know that people have varying experiences with it, but I believe that's true of every single manufacturer. You
It's
know,
just, they're just like any other piece of equipment. You got to maintain it.
it's true. If the better they work the best when you keep them clean, and it's worth the couple of minutes it takes. Yeah.
You can see how little sand I've got in my system. It's actually the light underneath shining through.
Well, my clownfish have decided to clear the sand off the glass in the front right corner. And I suspect there's going to be eggs there one of these mornings when we come out, because it's right down to the Euro brace, and it's kicked all over my maze brains. And yeah, and plus the fish have dug pits under some of the rocks where there's like a little bit of a hollow in a rock, and they decided they wanted to go from one side of the rock to the other side of the rock, so they dig their way underneath. So there's at least, I don't know, 3 or 4 spots in my tank that are bare glass under the rock, and the sand is all in big mounds all over it. It fascinates me how busy they get and what they do to affect their environment.
Yeah. They don't stop. They got nothing else to do.
Yeah, that's true.
I know at the shop we had a customer bring a engineer goby, and I moved the tank and do something and set box up and coil a certain way in that tank. And I'd come back an hour later and he dug everything out, moved half the rocks. I'm like, oh my God. And he was a big engineer goby. He was like a full grown 8 or 9 inches.
Yep.
Yeah, and thankfully someone else came in and bought him though.
I debated on engineer gobies, but I just, the way I have everything set up, it works a certain way for a certain reason. And I didn't want to start having negative impacts on the coral because of fish behavior. And it's one thing if you get a fish and you don't know what they're going to do, but it's another thing if you know ahead of time and you go ahead anyway, because then it's on you, right? So, yeah. Yeah.
You guys have your lights going off way too early. Must be me, because I work the graveyard shift, so my tank lights, they don't really kick on till like I think noon.
Yeah. And you're in the mid.
I think they kick off at like 10 till midnight or something.
Yeah, you're in the Midwest, right? So you're
I don't know what
Omaha?
time zone I am. I always get that confused. It's 11:16 p.m. where I'm at.
Okay, it's the same time here, 11:16.
Yeah, it's because I'm a night shifter.
Oh,
so I have the tank set up just to come on later in the day, because I don't go to work until 5 p.m. and I want to enjoy some light. I don't want to come home and the tank's always dark.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my lights come on anywhere between 8 and 11 in the morning, because there's like 6 lights all together, so they all come on at different times, and they start shutting off at around 8 at night, and the last one goes off at 11. So the very last light would have gone off a couple minutes ago. It's the front Atlantic there.
Yep.
But I have a light on in my alcove because I was curious about how the tank would get lit up. Like, I mean, if you look on the sand of my tank right here, you can see the shimmer.
Yeah.
And that's just from the light over top of my sink.
Yep. I like the shimmer. I do. I kind of miss it, but like I said, the sky kind of grew on me because it reminded me of back when I used to have T5s on my tank.
Yeah.
Very flat,
Yep.
absolute blanket coverage. Everything just great color, great spectrum. Yeah, I'm missing a little shimmer. Maybe I should throw a Kessel on there to supplement some shimmer,
Hmm.
but
Yeah,
I
I don't know
haven't
if
got
you
that far yet.
I don't know if you were listening earlier, but I'm seriously debating hanging maybe one of the 500s right above the middle of the tank, the
Yep.
Kessel, only for the shimmer. Just to give it that little bit of a kick. And I wanted to set up my flow pattern so that I had the same kind of flow that you get when you're doing snorkeling. Like, those really wide areas of water that's only moving a little bit, but there was no way I could do it because the tank is way too small for that. I mean, I intellectually, I probably knew that. And doing that, I would had to use really small power heads, like to move local areas of water, and it would not have been enough flow for the whole tank.
Right.
So I had to sort of give up on that idea. So I have more surface motion than I really want. So, I'll just have to see what I can do, what else I can do. Diacanthus says, I'd recommend the Skeletor eel if you like engineer gobies but don't want that mess. Yeah, no, I don't want an eel. Oh, we lost him. Phone probably gave out just in the last second. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what this weird green light is that's on my screen here. I think it might be to do with the filter.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
All right, I cut my headphone off because I couldn't hear you too well. So
Yep.
if you're getting crazy feedback, I'll put myself on mute.
It sounds good.
Okay. Okay. I've shown you guys my sump, or I've shown you my sump. I don't know if anybody cared to see it.
I
But
love your show us your refugium where you grow your Cato in the black bucket. I
oh
think
yeah,
this is a great idea.
so literally just a trash can, and then I cut a hole, put a bulkhead in it, just a bulkhead I had laying around. It's fed by my carbon reactor, and that's it. It's just a trash can.
Yep.
Doesn't get any easier than this. When my this Cato grows really slow, so I don't know if I need a different strain, but it does keep my tank does seem to have pretty steady like phosphate,
Yep.
manageable phosphates, I should say. Like I rarely have to use GFO,
Yeah.
and I feed pretty heavy. But it grows really slow, and yeah, I love it because if I need to clean it, I just pick the whole thing up, dump the water out, and then take it to my slop sink and scrub the bubble algae and whatever that's growing on the walls. There's some hair algae that's growing on the wall in here, and
Yep.
it's kind of hard to see, but yeah. And I run the light on reverse of the display tank
Yep.
to hopefully keep the pH up. I probably could run it 24 hours a day, but this little Kessel gets pretty hot, so it makes me nervous 24
Yeah.
hours a day.
Yeah. Well, and I think
Skimmer is old
aren't you
school.
like the Cato does need a break too, I think.
Yeah,
Like
it probably does.
Yeah. Ugly Man's Reefing likes your skimmer. Love the Tunsey skimmer in that tub, 9410.
Actually, this is, I don't even know if they make it. Maybe Tunsey does make this or has bought it, but this was a ASM Mini G.
Oh.
That's just the brand that it was when I bought it back in the day, an ASM Mini G. Yeah, it's been good to me for so long. I have had no reason to really replace it. And I actually love how easy the cup just comes right off. It's just so easy to come right off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small skimmer, but I only need to empty it maybe once a week. So if I have to start emptying it twice a week, then maybe I'll upgrade.
Hey, if it works, right?
Yeah, it works. And the pump on it, it's like one of those little CJ 1.0 pumps. So when the pump does crap out, which is not often, I think I've replaced the pump twice in maybe 13 or 14 years on that skimmer. The pump's like 15 or 19 bucks. There's just a little tiny CJ pump, and I just swap the magnet needle wheel into it, and I'm off and running again. But yeah, I mean, I've got at the shop, I've got the Reef Octopus, a big old beast skimmer, and then I've got a nice S-hop skimmer, and I can't tell you, I feel like I get better skim made out of this, and I have to do less finessing and messing around with the height of the skimmer or how much air. The other ones, they got all these options, but they drive me crazy because there's more for me to mess up. This tank or this skimmer, you just set the height of the foam into the neck, and that's it. You leave it. And the other ones, I try to do that, and I'm like, oh my, what's going on with the skimmer? I haven't added anything. One day it's going crazy. The next day it's not skimming at all.
Crazy. Yeah, Ugly Man said he's never seen those in Australia. He thought it was a Tunzi, same cup as a Tunzi.
They do. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe like ASM is the manufacturer and Tunzi private labels it, because it just has the way you adjust it is you just pull up. This is the sponge. You just pull up on this tube. I'm not going to pull it up because I don't want to mess with it. But the tube just slides up and down, and that changes your height.
That's amazing.
So it doesn't get any simpler.
Cool.
And yeah, my spaghetti mess wire chaos I got going on. I dose soda ash BRS. Just made some of that up the other day. So I don't know, everybody's on this kelp train lately, and I've been playing with some kelp in the shop. But honestly, I'm already ready to give up and just go right to the soda ash, because this system is all soda ash, and my pH is 8.27 to like 8.48.
Awesome.
And it's just dialed. I don't know if it's because I'm dosing almost 100 mils of soda ash a day, which is definitely keeping the pH up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not complaining. My corals aren't complaining about that high pH. So
I might have to look into that, just because of, you reach a point where you're losing ground and you don't want to start putting in more and more and more.
yeah.
You just have to go to a different method. Yeah, Ugly Man says the Tunzi 9410 is the same. Drop it in and forget it. No fiddling. It just works.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to buy another one of these. Yep. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what they say.
Yeah, exactly.
As we show off entire rooms of fish tank stuff. We're keeping it simple though, right?
Well, you know what though? Each thing is simple as you put it in.
Right.
It's the aggregation of everything that gets complicated, and then you have to take it apart or take one thing out to do something with it.
Yep. See, I mean, I like playing with the fancy Apex stuff, but I still got a cheapo Jabo pump and power heads in the tank. I mean, I can't justify spending $400 or $500 for water movement.
Yeah.
For 2 pumps.
I agree. And the Vortec pumps have never interested me, the MP 4060 whatever, because you can't aim them. And I always like to aim my pumps at the surface just slightly so that we can get that gas exchange going. And for my tank, to push water 5 feet, I would need an MP 60, or is there another one above that? Is there a 90?
MP10, MP40, MP60.
60. I would need MP60s. And in Canada, those things cost $1,000 each. Like, no, it's a huge no. Yeah.
I've been using the BRS stuff for since before they went to the pharmaceutical grade.
Yep.
I've always had success with it, so I keep doing it.
Yep.
I know some people are buying 2-part. It's already in a bottle and made up. But once you make it yourself a couple times, you're going to be like, dang, that was too easy. I'm wasting money.
Yeah. It's so true. And if you have the facilities to make it yourself, or I guess once you reach a point where you need a larger quantity, then it makes economic sense to do that.
This is something I might need a hand with.
Oh
I
yeah.
just picked this stuff up because it was supposedly an easy way to do your trace elements.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a tropic marin. I don't know if anyone has used this in the chat. If they have, let me know, because I am lost on it. And I'm actually confused if I bought the wrong stuff, because I understand that when you're running sodium bicarbonate for your alkalinity, you get an ionic imbalance in your salt water. So you need this stuff to basically rectify the ionic imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is your trace elements.
Mm-hmm.
My dilemma is, though, am I even getting an ionic imbalance because I run soda ash and I'm not running the bicarbonate. I used to back in the day. And then when I learned that soda ash was going to give me elk and my pH, I switched many years ago. And then I put it out of my mind, the ionic imbalance, and forgot all about it. Now I'm circling back to it.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, do I need to worry about that imbalance with soda ash?
You know, if you have a chance, or I would contact Tropic Marin and see if you can get a hold of Lou Ekus,
Yeah.
because he loves to talk to people about this stuff and help them. When we went to RAP in Chicago, on the 2 separate days, I spent over an hour talking to him about chemistry, and he loves talking about it. So if, like, to me, what you have sounds like a really basic question
Yeah.
that they should be able to answer for you.
I'm pretty sure that they're going to say, yes, you still do, and you still do need that. I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I might be understanding how to use this stuff, but I think you need to, like, say, for example, if you're dosing 50 mils of your alkalinity supplement and 50 mils of calcium, you're supposed to dose 100 mils of this to keep the ionic balance correct. Or maybe you just match whatever your alk and calcium is.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's 50. If you're dosing 50 alk, then once you mix this powder up, then you dose 50 mils of this.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know. I've not used
I just was scared. I've had it
part
for
of it.
like 8 months. I'm scared the tank's doing good. I'm gonna add this stuff and then the tank's gonna blow up.
Yeah, I know.
So I just been doing the occasional iodine drops, which I'm very terrible about doing those.
Mm-hmm.
Potassium.
You know what I do every Friday? My iodine goes in every Friday. I put 1 drop per 100 gallons because I would rather underdose, and I haven't done water changes, so I'm sure the system needs it. Right. And if I forget on a Friday, then I don't do it any other day. I wait till the next Friday, so that I always do it on a Friday, so I can't overdose. That's what I'm afraid of. So are you
doing the Lugel's iodine?
Yes.
Okay, because I have some of that, and I have started using that.
Yeah.
But previously, I used to use, it was like C-Chem.
There is,
iodine, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I think it's supposed to be a little bit more beginner friendly. I eventually ran that all out, but that stuff scares me more because it's not a dropper. It's a 5 mil cap, and it's I don't even know, because I have a test kit for iodine that I don't trust. I mean, I don't even know if I'm doing the test right because it's so hard to do.
Well, years ago, when I first became aware of the thing about iodine, I did some reading, and apparently the hobby grade test kits that we use are incapable of measuring iodine accurately in the ranges in which we should have it in our tanks. So when you have your test kit, if you get any reading at all, it's too much. And when you get the 0 reading, you start freaking out because you go, oh my God, I have no iodine in my tank. Everything's going to die. That's the problem right there. So that's why I took somebody's advice who said, you got a 100-gallon tank, 1 drop a week.
1 drop per 100 gallons. Okay, I'll try that. I'll set it in my Apex, so you can set reminders. So like I have reminders for fill the ATO or check elk, reservoir I can put in there.
Yeah.
add drop of iodine so I can actually get on a rhythm of doing it.
Right. And the thing is, when I put the 1 drop in, like I put it, because you can't go less than a drop. So I do the observation tank every other week. And whenever I do the second week, the shrimp always molts. I have a single peppermint shrimp in there.
Okay.
And when I do the big tank, the shrimp in here molts about every 3 weeks. I still have a blood shrimp in here that's about 4 years old. He's
Yep.
getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The fish still use him as a cleaning station.
Right.
And it's just so cool. Like it, and if you don't put iodine in and there's not enough in the water, that's where you see the problems, is because the invertebrates are the ones that need it more, like the most, I would say. Because remember, it's not just the shrimp, it's also all of your pods, because they're all crustaceans too.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And, to me, it kind of makes sense with all the pH chasing that's going on too, because, what are these animals' shells made? Their exoskeleton
Yep.
is made from some kind of calcification, and that has to happen through a higher pH.
Yeah.
Or a minimum, whatever, 8.0 or 8.1, I'd say, So if your tank is rocking that high pH, it's no wonder your shrimps are growing out of their skin.
Yeah. And like if I can keep it around between 8.1, 8.2, at night it doesn't go below 8, except rare occasions, as I said, when we have a lot of people in the house or the HRV hasn't been on for a couple days because it's so humid out. Yeah. Yeah, Phil, Reefkeeper says MP60s are amazing pumps. $1,000 is pretty steep. Yeah. With so many people getting out of the hobby, pick up a used one. Mine is used. Yeah, I agree. I would use a used one, but the problem is people want $500 and $600 for them, which is, for me, is still too much to spend. Yeah.
I can't angle it. I have to buy these guards for it. It only shoots one direction. They got issues with the magnet or the wet side falling off. It's like, I'll just stick with my El Cheapo ones.
Yeah.
But I do think that I think Ecotech is slipping by not offering a cheaper version.
I agree.
They should have a cheaper version. I'm sure that they have some cheap parts in the Ecotechs that could be brought down, similar components. And, you know how it is with any hobby. People have brand loyalty.
It's true. Yeah.
I ain't afraid to say that I like my Apex, and a lot of people say, nah, it's overkill. Well, once I got it, I was like, I'm in love with it. It's amazing. I love it. Changed my mind.
See, and the thing is that I've never really criticized people for brand loyalty because I understand it. And I wish people wouldn't criticize me for brand loyalty. It really bugs me.
I think it's okay to have brand loyalty as long as you're honest about it, though. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you, like, hey, I want a little bit more shimmer from my Neptune sky. Am I 99.9% happy? Yeah, I love the way they're growing my coral and the spectrums and the ease of the setup, blah, blah, blah. But there's always going to be some improvement that can be made with any product we're using. So, yeah, I mean, hey, if Ecotech was listening, I'd say, dude, why are you letting the Chinese take money from us? Don't tell me you can't make something cheaper. It doesn't have to be 20-year reliability, lifetime warranty. Just give me something that's, comparable price-wise.
Yeah.
And I'd rather put money into workers' money into workers' pockets in Pennsylvania or Canada than China. So
yeah,
hopefully all that stuff starts to change.
Well, I love my Atlantic lights. I hate the app. Absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
Like you should be able to open up the app and know what your lights are set at.
Right.
And you can't do that. Like you have to guess from a whole list of things and then go down to the last used.
Yeah.
And the only way you know who last used is if you remember the percentages that you set.
Right.
Like the first screen should say, this is what your light is running. You want to change it?
Yeah.
Click here.
You know, it's
I
funny
hate
that
it.
you said that because it kind of reminded me of, I think, Terrence from Neptune. He doesn't work with them now, but I feel like I remember him saying recently, the hardest part for these companies is the software. It's
Yes,
not
I
hard
heard
to put
that.
an LED fixture together. You need to hire IT people to build the app, to build the, all of the coding so that when you flip this switch, your light or your pump does that. That's the hard part. It's not hard to source the materials to build lights and pumps and, whatever.
Yeah.
It's the software behind it,
I'm a process person. When we used to go on trips, it would be me looking at the breakfast buffet and going, why is that over there? Why is that over there? Like, they need to switch. So it's like a step-by-step thing
Yep.
that you don't get in these user interfaces for these apps.
I know exactly what you mean because I used to work in restaurants, and it used to drive me crazy if the lettuce and tomato and onions weren't right next to each other, because how many sandwiches get lettuce, tomato, onion?
And they shouldn't be at the beginning of the line with the plates down further.
Right. Yeah. The plates should be at the front of the line. Yep.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at some comments. Phil says I have 2 MP40s, 2 MP10s, 1 MP60. All of them have been running for many years. I love that you can have extra wet side and swap them out. That is a really good feature. Oh, they're saying I'm getting an echo when I'm talking. I wonder if it's my thing here. Oh, I guess it must be coming back through your speakers, maybe. Sammy?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I just hope we haven't been talking for 30 minutes like that and everybody's like, see ya. I can't stand this. Well, anyway, my phone's gonna die anyways. I'm at about 10%, so I'll probably pop off into the chat section. And
well, thanks for coming in.
I just figured I'd sneak in for a minute. I was bored. I love showing corals, so
awesome.
I don't have nothing new in here to show off.
It looks good though.
Yeah, I need to get moving on it. I've been wanting to rescape it. That was the plan at the beginning of summer. Now it's just become a working frag tank that I pull stuff out of here and there and put in the store. So yeah. I really want to go down the Coral Euphoria Aquascape Road where he's got the scape done and drilled out and everything's on fiberglass rods. It's like, oh, I think I'll cut a piece of home wrecker today, and just pulls it right off the rock. And
yeah.
Well, all right, I'll hop off if we're getting feedback.
All right, thanks for coming in though.
Yeah, definitely. I'll see you guys in the chat.
Yeah, see you later. Yeah, Phil, same here. ReefGrrl, love my ATI Stratons, but there's no app. Statins, only web interface. Not a fan. Yeah, when you speak, there's a slight. Thanks for pointing that out, Phil. I knew I could hear it a little bit, but I didn't know how bad it was. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, and for example, these lights, since we're talking about lights, I like that they have a cloud feature where the idea is for about 15 minutes every hour, the lights dim right down to simulate clouds going over. And the idea behind getting less light is that the corals can then eliminate toxins that build up as a result of the photosynthetic process. So it's a wonderful feature, and you can get light clouds and strong clouds. So I always set mine for strong clouds. And stupid stuff like, you have to set the end time before you set the beginning time, because the default is all 0000. So if you want the clouds to turn on at 9 a.m., you type in the first box 0900. It won't let you do that because the second box is 0000. So that's before 0900 in their world. So you gotta, if you want them to shut off at 10 o'clock, you have to put in 2200, then go back and put 0900, and it'll let you do that. It's like stupid stuff like that. It's not there yet, and I've never really followed up with them or because I mean they're still coming out with more and more upgrades for all these lights and more stuff. And I don't know when they're going to do something about this app. And like I was saying earlier, I hate that I can't open it and just under the status button have the light, like the back light, the front light, I've named them, show which program I'm running, because every program has a name. And the only way I can find that out is to go into the list of programs and go down and look for what I last used. It's just not, it's not there yet. Yeah, maybe it's just me. Totally possible. Only the last few minutes, rest of the stream has been fine. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Phil. Raphael STI from Seattle. Oh, nice. Sammy 31D, I hate that 24-hour military time on the lights makes me go cross. I know. 2200 is 10 p.m. Yeah. What time is it anyway? Oh, it's 1:45. You know what? We've been going for almost 4 hours. That's a pretty good stretch. Can you guys see my maze brains getting fuzzy up at the front here? The tentacles are starting to come out. I am going to do a video one of these days. I'm going to turn the room light on so that everything is easy to see, and I'm going to walk around the whole tank and do a tentacle tour. Even candy cane corals turn into fuzzballs this big when all of the tentacles are out. It's crazy. And I have a Trachophilia. Actually, I have two Trachophilias that when you look at them, it's just fuzz. The whole top of it is fuzz with tentacles. So it's good because I feel like it's a good sign that there must be stuff in the water that they're able to take up. And when I see that, like I think I said in a video, I grab a bottle out of the fridge because I have such a variety of like microplanktons, and put some in the tank and just let them go all through. I have no way to really keep them in the tank, so ultimately they end up going over the overflow. But then that's fine too because I still have coral downstairs. So yeah. Night views are amazing. Corals look way different. Oh yeah. Yeah, if anybody out there has never looked at their reef tank with a flashlight at like 2 in the morning, you got to do it. That's when you see all the really big pods too. You know, the ones that are like the size of your baby fingernail. They're out and running around on the sand, and yeah, it's pretty amazing. That's also when you see clusters of hermit crabs. And sometimes I can't decide whether they're trying to steal each other's shell or whether they're mating or what they're doing. But they're, you know, you'll see a dark spot and it's just writhing. And it's, if you zoom in with a like a phone camera, like it's all legs. So I used to try and break them up because I was afraid they were killing each other. But then I'm thinking, well, what if they're not? Maybe this is bad. Maybe I should just leave them alone. Anyway. All right. Well, I think I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you very much to everybody who stopped by tonight. I really enjoyed talking to you all. It was a nice active stream. And anytime any of you want to come in on a stream, please don't be afraid. Don't be shy, because it's always interesting to see what you're doing. So as I said at the beginning, next Sunday, August the 28th, 26th is Friday, yeah, August 28th, Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, will be the global version of the stream to try and catch a wide array of time zones where people still have their tank lights on. And once again, thanks, everybody. I appreciate you spending the time here, and take care of yourselves, take care of your reefs, and stay safe. See you next